Hello everyone, welcome back to another Saturday Skin Showcase. I'm your host Hedge, along with my co-host right over there, Mr. MICRØ. We have a few groups of skins to look at today, which we'll review from both a gameplay and a Steam market investment point of view. First, we will take a look at this week's Rust item store rotation, and we'll follow that up with a look at any workshops submissions from this week, which could be viewed as continuations of existing sets. We hope that this information will properly prepare us to make informed investment decisions about both upcoming and existing Steam market items. If you have any insights of your own that you'd like to discuss, please feel free to hop into the chat and say hello. Hello chat, how you doing? Say hello to YouTube. How good are you? So yep, if you ever want to come and hop in my YouTube descriptions for every video, there's a link to my Twitch. We stream this every Saturday at 9 o'clock in the UK, so feel free to hop in and offer your opinions as we're showing off all the skins. Also, you might see that there is a link to my Discord server. Feel free to come join our investment community on Discord, link below, and anybody is welcome. So yep. That's all good. Mr. MICRØ, do you believe in the aliens, Mr. MICRØ?
I want to.
He wants to. Yes.
I want to.
We've had a very silly week this week, haven't we, Mr. MICRØ, as predicted, because we have started to see a pattern quite recently that Facepunch likes to save risky, more fun, wacky designs for the last week of the month, the last rotation of the month, to be precise. And you're the one who informed me. I took a look at the previous months. I saw the pattern myself, and at the very beginning, sorry about that. At the very beginning of my Rust rotation, I was like, guys, it's kind of looking like we might be getting something a bit silly this week, something a bit wacky. And lo and behold, we've got some pizza, we've got some aliens, and we got a skin creator who got their first ever skin to be accepted. So everything lined up quite perfectly. So, Mr. MICRØ, shall we start to hop in and showcase some skins? Do you feel like you're ready to take a look at a certain special door that we showed off a good 2 weeks ago? Mr. Freddy's stone sheet metal door. You can touch it, MICRØ. Get a good feel of it. Ooh.
Oh, it feels like stone. Wow.
It feels like
the real
stone.
thing.
It looks like stone. But
yeah.
Is it stone? Well, Mr. Freddy, you got your resources door collection, I guess we could call it. Would you call it? Yeah, resources door collection, because he's making a lot of imitations of all the walls. We've had the twig door, we've had the log door, and now I believe that's the stone door. Stone sheet metal door, to be precise. And I wouldn't be surprised if we potentially see some sheet metal doors in the future, and maybe an armored door in the future. This is progressing very nicely, and at the moment it's selling wonderfully. Not only was this popular in terms of sales, but we saw with the votes, didn't we, MICRØ, that this had a lot of votes beforehand. In fact, wasn't this the most popular skin in terms of votes that we saw?
Yeah.
Because
it was very highly rated.
Because I showed this off during my Rust rotation stream, and yeah, it's worked out very nicely. So I'm just kind of zooming in here just to see how it lines up with all the brick on the side, and I think a lot of people are definitely going to enjoy the gimmick of this, because I did make this point before, how a lot of people during the stage of their life cycle with their bases, a lot of people are going to be going through stone at some point. And I think they got the perfect door for it. But yeah, it doesn't really match up with the sheet metal wall that much. It's more for the stone walls. But hey, as I said, it definitely feels like it's a strong point now that we're going to lead up to potentially seeing sheet metal door at some point. And I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be looking forward to that. And then eventually, armored. I'm not sure if he can fit in a garage door at some point. That might be pretty cool, but yeah. Everything seems to be leveling up quite nicely. We started off with the wooden doors, and now we're on to sheet metal doors. So, let's just get a good look at this during the night time. And, yep, so we've got some dusk. Get a good look at the dusk. See how it looks. Get a good look at that. Mr. MICRØ wants to show off how light reflects on it at night time, so we'll get a good look at that. Oh, yeah. That seems to work out quite nicely. But yeah, I'm now going to make it nighttime, and yeah, you can't see a thing. So, Mr. MICRØ. Oh, yeah, that's a great start.
Oops,
and then...
Sorry about that.
Yeah, no. Now you can quickly grab that. Move around if you can, Mr. MICRØ. I will stay stationary if you can. If I can, yep. Oh, sorry about that. Okay, so... Okay, now we're just going to get a good look into this. Oh, whoa. I wanted to get a good look at the, what would we call it? The indents where all the cement is put in and whatnot. You see how
the
light...
little cracks and crevices between the rocks where, I mean, if you were building a wall like that, you'd have grout, I think, or maybe cement, but some type of material to fill that space, I guess. I guess it's not required. You could just stack up rocks, but if you're building a building, I think you need to grout it. So
right then, so Mr. MICRØ, in terms of the bump mapping and whatnot, would you like to take lead and give us a nice talk in terms of your opinion and what we see right in front of us? Because I could sit here and talk about it, but I know you have the experience, and I know you want to talk about it.
We saw this with the log door and with the twig door. I mean, it's a very nicely modeled rock type texture that matches the texture of the default building material, and well, it's about as good as you could do with the normal map on a flat surface like this. I mean, it's never going to match exactly the game material, because the game material, actually, I don't know if the stone material does. I never checked that. Let me look right now at an angle. I think the stone material might actually be kind of flat as it is, but the logs certainly have dimension to them that, you know, they are a 3D texture. So the logs had a little bit more of a difficult time matching this, the look and feel of the wall, the material that the building is built from. But I think the stone one is a really good match. I mean, it's the normal map, the bump map, whatever you want to call it, really does give the illusion of the 3D surface there and that texture. So it's very nicely done.
And if you could turn that off, Mr. MICRØ, get a good look at it with just some regular lighting on the side. And yeah, I think Mr. Freddy did a very good job of this. So for $2.49, people, a lot of people have looked at this and thought, you know what, I really want that. But I think a lot of people have jumped in and bought an excess amount. 2 days in, over 25,000 sales, and this is looking to be a bit of a problem. What I'm saying is with so many sales, there might be far too much in comparison to demand. Remember, demand versus quantity, it's an eternal struggle, Mr. MICRØ, an eternal struggle. But it looks like oversaturation is definitely going to potentially become a problem with this. But I think in the long term, I think a lot of people are going to appreciate this door for its special usefulness for all those lovely stone bases that we have at some point during our lives. Right, so do you have any other words, Mr. MICRØ, that you might want to talk about? All good? Or any more? Do you want to touch it some more?
I love a good stone base. I mean, that's definitely an important phase of the wipe, and it is actually pretty reasonable to consider a sheet metal door on a stone base. That's a very common, you know, phase that people go through, you know, before they've collected enough metal to like fully metal, like their airlock and everything. So you're going to start with your core. So like the airlock will probably be the last thing you upgrade to sheet metal. So this combination is going to be pretty viable for throughout like that early middle phase of the game. So I think it's a nice and fun aesthetic, you know, and we've seen the twig and the log doors. So this makes perfect sense. And, yeah, it's a cool take on something that you've pointed out a number of times when it comes to like a self-referential type skin from within the game environment. You know, this is not just a rocks door, but it's like the actual rocks from the rock wall. So, or from the stone wall, I should say. So very cool. Very cool.
I think
good
he's
idea,
done
good execution. Nice job.
And we look forward to seeing what comes next. So, as I said, at the moment, with the amount of sales that have happened, it's probably better off doing a buy order for the financial perspective. But if you like what you see, please consider buying it, show your support to the creator, and, you know, enjoy it. That's what Rust skins are for. So, we'll move on, Mr. MICRØ. Shall we now start talking about a certain... What smells so good, Mr. MICRØ? What we got here?
Smell that.
What we got here? I reversed into it just perfectly. What smells so good, Mr. MICRØ? I smell some barbecue. Ooh, so, gentlemen, get a good look at this. This right here in front of me is the barbecue large box. How about we start tinkering with the lighting? Get a good look at that as it gets ever so dark, but it's ever so bright at night. Yes. Chilies, flavors, pork, meat, deliciousness. It's the barbecue large box. Get a look at this. It's an independent skin. I think we should probably bring this up, MICRØ. So throughout this past week, in terms of submissions, and the week before, we've been seeing a lot of people trying to make attempts for some storage collections. Well, you know, Facepunch would have seen all of them, and they picked an independent skin instead. So we kind of have the message now that maybe it's not the best of times to be creating storage collections. It's not like Facepunch themselves has said, all right, guys, perfect time to make storage collections again. I know it's a bit weird to bring this up, but like, out of all those options, they picked this instead. They picked the individual design. So maybe it's best to see some more individual designs appearing on the workshop from here on now. Maybe it's going to take a long time until we actually get, like, technically official word through in regards to the likes of storage collections potentially being viable again. But we do know, way back when graffiti storage was still being made, Facepunch did send a word through to say, guys, can you please stop submitting storage collections? We want to take a break. We never got that word, the official word, to say, all right, you can start again. So, Mr. Zolotno, if I'm correct, this is your first ever skin to be accepted. Congratulations. Is that correct, Mr. MICRØ? This is definitely Zolotno. Yep.
Zolotno had the Charitable Rust skin.
He did, but this is his first marketable skin. So
That's
I
right.
guess,
That's right.
I guess, yeah. So you've been successful before, but hey, congratulations. Are we going to see a collection out of this? I look forward to it. But then I have to bring up the point again that this is an individual skin so far. This is an individual large box skin. So not too long ago, we had the likes of the Industrial Craft large storage, if you could remember. That came out technically all by itself. We were hoping to see more, and more was submitted, but it wasn't accepted. And now, because that Industrial Large Craft box is all by itself, it's not doing too good. In fact, it's down by like 30% already. So if the same scenario plays out for this barbecue large box again, I do worry that it's not going to hold up its value, and it's not going to be a very good investment. So that's the financial perspective. In terms of what I see right in front of me here, it's fun. It's not too wacky. It's straight to the point. It's all you need. I don't need to worry about special, super colourful things. I just need my peppers, my condiments, my meat, and I'm all good for the grill, Mr. MICRØ. What else would you recommend adding to it? Oh, we need Oh, yeah, there we go. Right, well, you got to put it on it, MICRØ. How are we going to cook it? Come on. Put it right
5 second
on there.
rule. Sorry. 5. All right.
Yep. So, you know, if you like the idea of having some... Oh, he did it! He made it stand on itself!
Build your own meal here.
But yeah, MICRØ, do you like what you see? Is there any words that you might want to offer for this?
I think it's a cool design, and it's... I don't know why. I think pigs are cute. Even when you, like... mark them up into different cuts, and you know, like I could see the tenderloin and the pork belly here, and so I don't know, it looks like a very delicious box, I could say that much. And imagine we got growable peppers in the game, chili peppers. That'd be interesting.
It would
and
be
lemons.
nice. It'd make you run faster or something, wouldn't it? Yeah, like I love
a little zing in your step. Yeah,
I love animals. They taste great. Yeah. sorry, but yeah. All right, so good stuff there, Mr. Zolotno. So I think we're now moving on to weapons, Mr. MICRØ. Do you feel ready to show off and what you got in your hands? What are you about to do?
Nope. That was my code lock. Oh, sorry.
Okay, so you go get yourself nice and ready, Mr. MICRØ, because I have in my hands you can't see it. Where is it? Oh. Sorry about that. Here we are. We have the Recycler AK-47 in my hands. The Recycler collection continues. Congratulations, Mr. Kelmo Legend. Let's just get a better look of light there. There we are. Perfect. Right then. So we have the usual characteristics. The self-referential. It's in shape and looks like a recycler. Very cool. We've got the useful yellow aim sight tip. That should be helpful in most environments. Quick shoot. Quick for load. It's worn out. Paint's thinning. But yeah, it's been through the battles and, well, it's been recycling a lot of bodies, I guess you could say. And then to Mr. MICRØ. Mr. MICRØ, let's get a good look at you. Holding that. Now, I always mistakenly, at first glance, I keep thinking those buttons glow in the dark, but just to be quickly on point, no, they don't. It's just a nice design, so yep. Get a good, nice pan around of this. It's nice. It's shiny. To a point, it's reflecting light, but yeah. Now, don't get your thumb too close to that. You don't want to accidentally recycle your thumb. I don't want to know what comes out of that MICRØ.
Bone fragments.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that would be correct, wouldn't it? You'd have a thumb bone knife. I'm surprised no one's done that. No one's made a thumb bone knife. Anyway, sticking to this point, here it is in all its glory. This has been quite a successful collection, Mr. Kelmo Legend. You've had, if I'm correct, 5 out of 6 skins accepted. You only missed out on your Recycler M93, if I can remember. You've only missed out one.
Yeah.
M39. Oh, yeah, M39. But yeah, that didn't work out, but everything else has. We are 3 AKs on the trot, as in we've had 3 AKs accepted 3 weeks in a row. In total, out of the past 8 Rustor rotations in 2023, we've had 6 AK-47s being accepted. So here comes my financial perspective. Guys, AKs aren't the most reliable investments. We've been over this many times. They keep getting loads of acceptances. They keep getting more and more skins. I do believe it's the most popular item to have the most skins accepted into the game. Because we constantly see a new AK, on average, having a new skin accepted every 2 weeks, it is a matter of that. It's hard, partly because, well, people aren't exactly super loyal to their AKs. There's always going to be another one, and they're just going to think, you know what, I'll bin this and grab the new one. There's also the case of, well, they don't really have room to grow in terms of investments. Remember, you also got to understand this. Skin creators, of course, are always going to want to make AKs because they keep getting acceptances. So, of course, that's going to happen. And Face Punch really know that loads of people want to use the AK in games, so they're going to keep the constant supply. But the issue is with so much being supplied, no room to grow as an investment. There's always going to be a new, sparkly, flashy, interesting one. So, yeah, I'm sorry to say, but in terms of the financials, I kind of don't want to go near it. But in terms of what you produce, Mr. Kelmo Legend, it's a perfectly nice AK. It's self-referential. It does its job. I was about to say it does it justice, I guess you could say. Because like I said, you didn't make it super bright and sparkly. It is worn out. It's got all that paint that's wearing out there. We got the, what would we call it? The grinding bits? What do we call that, Mr. MICRØ?
Yeah, the distressing. Oh, you mean the little teeth, the grinder teeth?
Yeah.
The mashers? I don't know what you call it either.
Yeah, I wouldn't know the precise term, but, it's all there. Great direct reference. But where do we go from here? Deplorables? Clothing? I mean, you could dress up as like a recycling worker. That could be a thing, I guess. It wouldn't necessarily be super referential to Rust then, but you get the idea. So, Mr. MICRØ, do you have any words that you might want to offer?
Nope, I'm good. You said everything I could have possibly said, so.
And I shall disappear.
Well put.
Goodbye. Right then, so back to the daytime. What else do I have in my pocket? Bam. Gentlemen, it is the continuation of the Wasteland collection, a semi-automatic pistol. Get a look at this. Hello. Where do the wires go? What are the wires for? I do not know, but give it a good reload and yes, get a good look at that. So Wasteland is it's been very successful. keeps getting the skin being accepted pretty frequently, doesn't it, MICRØ? We've had, how many skins now? We've had the likes of the Python, Thompson, Tools, this. Am I missing one? I keep thinking the AK is part of it, because Andre made an AK a long time ago called the Wasteland AK, but it's not really in the same design. If you see it, you'd know what I mean. It's not exactly part of the same collection. I think it just happens to have a very similar name, so maybe that means he can't make the Wasteland AK. Maybe they'll just call it the Wasteland AR or something. But yeah, he will find you, chat. He will find you, and you'll be you're going to be another part of the tally.
I'll add another tick mark. Yep.
Yeah, MICRØ's serious business.
So we have the Python, the SAR, now the SAP, the Tommy, and the pickaxe and hatchet. So I think the SAR was the one you didn't mention before.
I missed the SAR. My apologies, Mr. Andre, but hey, you're the successful one here. He's been very successful. I think he's had a skin accepted almost every single week of 2023. So, I mean, I don't think he's upset. So, yeah, Mr. MICRØ, would you be able to put that on your hip? Holster on your hip. Give us a nice little spin around. Well, bam. Very stylish, Mr. MICRØ. So, yes. Do you like what you see? Well, I will now offer you the financial perspective, gentlemen. SAPs don't really go up in price that much. The newer ones, at the very least. This is something I noticed with all of the 2022 SAPs. For a long time, they weren't really holding up their value. When we got to the good times for post-Christmas and whatnot, yeah, they didn't go up in price that much. Yeah. So if you're looking at this and you're thinking, oh, surely we're going to get loads of Wasteland skins, surely this is only going to improve the value of all the currently existing skins. Well, for the SAP, I don't think so. I don't think so. This is actually the lowest selling skin of the week so far. I think people just don't really care too much about newer SAP skins. We also did bring this up not too long ago with the Valentine semi-automatic pistol, like 2 weeks ago. I think that was like the second lowest selling skin of the week as well. It's awkward, but then again, they also don't really go up in price that much. So I don't really know what to tell you, other than I'm not confident in wanting to buy it in terms of trying to make an investment. I think I'm going to stick with a buy order. But of course, like I said, if you like what you see and you generally want it, please buy it, use it, support them. And, you know, it's helpful, but you get what you want and they're happy and then everybody continues and life goes on. Life is happy then, I guess you could say. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some more Wasteland skins being accepted. And it's nice to see. It's not super outlandish. It's not super colourful. It's grounded. It's in ruin. It's barely holding together. That's the struggle on the island. Do you have any words Mr. MICRØ?
It fits the Rust universe. You know, it feels like it's a salvaged or homemade type of thing rather than being like factory produced. So, I mean, it definitely feels like it fits the aesthetic of the game pretty nicely, and it certainly exhibits a lot of the same design elements that the previous skins in this collection have. So.
If it was
appropriate continuation, all the wires are red and blue. That must mean something. What could it mean?
What does it mean? What do the numbers mean, Mason? If it was factory, I'd like to see the factory new version. So, I want to find out what this is for. Where's the RGB lighting? Tell me, Andre, tell me! I want to see a factory new version now. Show me one of these Wasteland skins, but factory new. Maybe that might be the perfect counterpart version. Right, so, is that everything you wanted to say, Mr. MICRØ?
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. MICRØ, shall we... We don't need to shoot the sky. We need that. We need the sky. Well then, chat, sit back and relax because Mr. MICRØ is going to get changed with some new clothes. Do you have it on you, Mr. MICRØ? You're not butt naked.
I do.
Right. Dun, 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 dun,
oh, wait. Oh, wait.
Just looking at your toes.
Wait.
Okay,
yeah,
okay. All right.
I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing here.
Okay. Whoa. MICRØ is not indecent just yet. Don't you worry, chat. Soon. All right. Are you looking good now, Mr. MICRØ?
I'm actually not. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to put on a few other little accessories here that'll really make this one pop.
Oh, okay then. So, Mr. MICRØ, I believe we're going to be talking about pizza collection now, if I'm correct.
That's right.
Pizza collection, as I said, gentlemen, we were anticipating some fun, silly, risky, wacky-looking skins to be accepted this week. Pizza has been accepted for every last week for the past 3 months, ever since December, January, and February. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe that trend continues with next March, but we'll have to wait and see. Because part of me also thinks that this being potentially the last clothing piece, maybe Face Punch are going to probably slow down on it. But here we are. Dun, 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 dun. Mr. MICRØ, you're looking like a real meal deal right here, buddy. What have you got on? He's got the whole shebang. We're talking pizza hide shoes, pizza hide pants, pizza hide shirt, pizza poncho, pizza bandana, and pizza boonie hat. Gentlemen, we got a full clothing collection right in front of us. Do you like the pizza? Do you want to dress up
like
one?
extra cheese.
You're looking extra shiny, Mr. MICRØ. How much grease are you? How greasy are you?
Is that how you judge your pizzas?
Well, you know, if you're going to differentiate the likes of Domino's and Pizza Hut, the grease really does matter. Oh. So, yes, we have, technically speaking, a full clothing collection. Would you consider poncho to be armor?
Sure. I mean, in a sense, it definitely helps up your stats, and it's something you wear on top of your clothing. So I guess that's sort of borderline, but it definitely, every little bit counts when giving you protection. I mean, at that rate, I guess you could call clothing armor as well, but it all just adds to your stats. So
let's be more specific, gentlemen. I've just whacked my head out. Sorry. Here we go. This is the first hide shoe skins to be accepted in about 4 years. Maybe I think it's 3.5 to 4 years. I believe the last ones before this were the reindeer hide shoes, and that came out in 2019, so that'd be Christmas 2019. Therefore, that would be 3 years. So yeah, 3 years since the last hide shoe skins were accepted. Gentlemen,
excluding streamer skins, right? Excluding
streamer skins, you are correct, because someone requested and brought in like some sandals and socks and whatnot. That was actually a funny idea. But yeah, this right here is your first marketable hide shoe skins to be accepted in 3 years. But then I rise, and what do I see? It's a delicious looking pizza hat, the Boonie hat. This is the first Boonie hat to be accepted in about 1.5 years, the last one being the fisherman's Boonie hat. And we need to consider this, right? Just because the item hasn't had a skin accepted in such a long time, does that mean it's going to be more valuable? Does that mean everything's going to be all right? Well, here's how we're going to talk about this, because we sat here and questioned this very same thing with the likes of the pants and the hide shirt. Immediately, when they became marketable, they lost their value pretty quickly, didn't they? Because so many of the stock was appearing on the Steam market. And I worried the same thing could happen with the likes of the hide boots and the hide Boonie hat, sorry. So be cautious. Just because they haven't had an item accepted in such a long time doesn't necessarily equal guaranteed success. But with the appearance of the boots and the hat, we did see an increase in demand for the hide shirt. And, well, actually all of this. Poncho went back up to $6. Bandana went back up to $4. That was very nice. But the shirt and the pants, whilst they did go up by a bit, they kind of only settled at around $1. Because then what happened was the people noticed and they started to unload their stock onto the Steam market all over again. And that happened. So, yeah, other people exist, unfortunately. This might be something you have to hold on to for quite some time, because this isn't the end of the pizza collection. Oh, no. We do have more to show off. Not right now, but in the continuations, we have something to show. But right now, it looks like we have a full clothing set available to you. Do you want to dress up as the pizza man? Pizza man, dance. Dance, pizza man, dance. Do the pizza dance. Because that's you, MICRØ dance. Will this take off? Will people want to dress up in full pizza? Will people find it funny, want to do videos, stream as pizza men? knocking on people's doors saying, we're going to raid you in 30 minutes or less. There's loads of jokes that potentially could be done with this. Do people find it funny? Will everybody catch on to it? Maybe it just takes one YouTuber to make a silly video about it and then everybody wants to copy them. We don't fully know, but we can anticipate that potentially happening. Now, at the moment, that's something I don't want to fully rely upon. But yes, as we slowly twirl around, we can get a good look at all of this. It's a bit outlandish, but that was expected for our last week of the month. So my final answer is, if you want to play it extra safe, wait until Thursday, look how many have sold, then make a decision. Right now, the Boonie hat and the hide shoes, they haven't sold as much because some certain other skins also appeared this week that took quite a lot of the attention away, namely the stone door, which at the moment has over 25,000 sales. The boots at the moment have like 8,000 sales. The hat has like 9,000 sales. Not too wacky. And I should point out to you, the reindeer hide shoes, well, that had like 6,000 sales back in 2019. The fisherman's Boonie hat, that had 28,000 sales. So we're on track to see these skins not actually sell that much in comparison to what we last saw. Or rather, based on what we currently see, they're not selling that much. They are looking to be in an okay position, but it looks like at best they're going to be better off as a long-term investment. So it's not very clear. That boat just arrived. Oh dear. He wants your pizza, MICRØ, run. But yeah. I'd probably just consider this more for a long-term buy order. A long-term approach in terms of something at some point in the future probably will cause this to go up in price. But there are no guarantees. We can sit here and say we're very likely not going to see any more hide shirt or pants skins being accepted. Hide shoes, Boonie hats, bandanas. We're probably not going to see much of this for a long time. So maybe by default it will gradually go up in price because it's the cheapest available option. And you know what? Maybe I just want to go for the full pizza collection. If I'm going to buy one pizza thing, I might as well get all of it. So we'll see how these things turn out. But at the moment, I kind of just want to stick with a buy order. Mr. MICRØ, do you have any words in regards to the pizza collection?
No. Other than I hope you like pepperoni.
Well, do you not come in a vegetarian option? Actually, it could be vegetarian pepperoni, you never know. Well, right then, MICRØ, shall we move on to talking about the next collection? Because I did allude to the point that pizza stuff, the shoes and the Boonie hat weren't selling as much as anticipated because something else is taking away all of the attention. MICRØ, can you put on the new comics clothing and armor? Gentlemen, we were anticipating more comic skins potentially being accepted, and well, it's only gone to happen. And we saw in the lead up to this week the likes of the hoodie and the pants, the comics hoodie and pants, which were accepted earlier this month, right? Oh.
Going out of control here with my skin. Sorry about that.
He has too much power, chat. So the hoodie and the pants before this, they had like 500 listings on the Steam market beforehand. The very second, I kid you not, the very second that we saw the Roadsign gloves and the boots being accepted, they disappeared instantly. It seems whoever had them listed on the Steam market instantly knew that loads of people are going to want to jump in and buy out the likes of the pants and the hoodie because they anticipate a whole lot more to come in the future. So, on the Thursday, we saw the likes of there only being 70 quantity of the hoodie and the pants existing on the Steam market. If you look today, there are over 1,000 hoodies on the Steam market, and with the pants, there's over 700 pants in the Steam market. It looks like they realised, okay, so this has gone up to $3, might as well unload all of my stock now. So that happened. But we do have the collection rolling out quite nicely. Mr. MICRØ, give us a nice spin if you like. So yes, normally I would sit here and say core pieces tend to be the most valuable thing to look forward to. But I will point out, boots and gloves that are part of collections tend to be very reliable investments. They tend to hold their value. But here's the thing, and I have great comparisons. I do mention this in my 48-hour analysis. With the likes of the boots, boots are selling better than gloves at the moment. If we can remember last year, we had 2 budget blackout collections that came out. Dragon Rage and Black Gold. Dragon Rage boots had 35,000 sales. Black Gold boots had 15,000. Guess which ones sold a whole lot better when we hit post-Christmas time? The best time to sell your skins because all of the skin prices become inflated and suddenly become super valuable. Yes, the black gold boots. Basically, what I'm saying is when there's far too many that are bought, we end up with far too many in circulation. Basically, the exact same thing with the likes of the AK-47 skins and whatnot. But in this, it's more specific to the actual amount of what this skin is, how many of this skin exist. So this is actually a problem that we already have with the likes of the hoodie and the pants. Even though we've just seen some new pieces be accepted and they went up in price, they probably could have gone up a whole lot more. But because there's so many in circulation, there's now over 1,000 hoodies in the Steam market and over a 700 quantity of the pants in the Steam market. It's too much. So keep an eye on the amount of sales. The boots and the gloves are abnormal. We don't need to rush into buying it, so we can have that strategy at the very least. But with the boots, we don't have whiteout boots, for example. Whiteout never got boots accepted, and if you're going to sit there and say, well, you know, we've got No Mercy, we've got Doodle boots, we got No Mercy, Doodle, what else is the other one? No Mercy, Doodle, there's another one I can't remember, oh dear. But basically, the thing I wanted to point out is Doodle's like $5, No Mercy's like $12. Yeah, they're not exactly cheap. Right here, these boots are selling for... these boots are selling for $1.49. Yep, that's correct, $1.49. Right, that's a whole lot more affordable. So I get the feeling that not only are people going to be using these for a full comics collection, but they're going to also want to use these with a full whiteout collection as well. And we do know, and we have suggested that very likely will be happening with a lot of the potential comic skins. They're probably going to be mixed and matched and go hand in hand with whiteout skins. I should also point out to you, whiteout gloves do exist. Whiteout roadside gloves do exist, but they sell for $6. These comics gloves, they're selling for $2. I reckon a lot of people will be keeping an eye on them. And for both of these boots and gloves, if they are part of collections, by default, they tend to do quite nicely in terms of investments. But it all depends. If they end up with over 30,000 sales, that is where we hit oversaturation territory, and that is where they're most likely going to struggle in terms of being good investments for the future. So keep an eye on that. We'll talk more about that on the Wednesday night next week when we do our abnormal buy orders, and then we'll talk about how likely they're going to end up. MICRØ, do you have any words that you might want to offer?
No, I think it's a set we all are pretty well familiar with at this point. The boots may be something more desirable because of the limited number of white footwear options we have. You know, so there's some other sets that could benefit from having these as a pairing. So that's nice. And well, at this point, we've got a lot of stuff in the collection, and actually, we're going to see some more of the comics on the workshop when we talk about the upcoming stuff on the workshop for this week. So, we'll connect those dots a little later when we get onto that phase of the program.
We got more to show off, don't you worry. Next week is Force Wipe week, and it's looking pretty interesting. But yeah, this was just a nice quick thing to show off. Whiteout, you know what? That kind of it looks weird, but it also looks kind of cool. In a weird way. Hey, trendsetter, Mr. MICRØ, aren't you looking fly? Okay, so, Mr. MICRØ, shall we now put on our weird skin of the week? MICRØ, MICRØ, do you believe, MICRØ? Are you a believer? Yes. Gentlemen, what a surprise this is. Mr. MICRØ is wearing the UFO Tier 3 armor. Now, I was pointing this out. We have been seeing a new trend. We have been seeing a new trend where the last week, the last rotation of the month, tends to have the more risky picks, the more interesting, crazy-looking ideas for skins. Pizza's been a noticeable one these past few months, but surprise, surprise, aliens. Do you wanna hum the X-Files theme whilst I talk, Mr. MICRØ? Right, so, Mr. MICRØ, let me just get a good side view of you. Hey.
I'm going to pop my glasses off. Oh, God, it's bright. Just want to give you the full view of that face mask, you know, with sort of a default look to it.
So, It's fairly brighter green. A lot of people don't seem to realise it until you actually look at it. It is a bit of a brighter green. Now, MICRØ, you also have some interesting clothing ideas for this as well. Do you wanna show off your ideas? If you have any?
We were talking during your Thursday store rotation video, and people were sort of like tossing out ideas of what to pair it with. So I have one suggestion that I immediately thought of when I saw the set, and I have another suggestion that was called out a few times in chat, and then we have a third one that I guess I'll start with, which is like the default or the face punch provided hoodie and pants, like forest green color, if you know what I mean.
So we've got the green hoodie and the forest camo pants. So this is your cheap get-up for the grassy, foresty areas. Get a good look at this. Mr. MICRØ, give us a nice twirl. Yes, that is extraterrestrial. Yeah, I tried to make a joke there. Didn't go anywhere. Just spin, please. Help me. Oh, that was a great UFO spin. I feel like that was a better joke. All right. So, what was your special conspiracy idea? Because you had an interesting idea immediately.
This was the first thing that came to my mind. I was, this has like the whole like alien on the side business. I mean, it's got the big alien hood on the back with like the alien patch, right? So this is very UFO-y. And actually, there was, at the time this was submitted, actually a tier 3 set that was like an alien face and chest piece. So if you own this set, you might have already come to the realization that this is an appropriate tier 3 combination to pair with it. The only downside is we don't really have a good kilt to match with this getup.
Yeah.
So
that's Conspiracy Nut hoodie and pants, correct?
Yes. Yep. That's right.
I want to believe.
The author submitted, I think, boots and gloves and the tier 3 stuff. So they had a whole vision for this set, and then it kind of died off after those didn't get accepted. And then, and that's actually been quite a while since those were in the workshop. So here we are, 2023. MICRØ makes another crack at it. He didn't make the Conspiracy Nut set. These are not related. These are not actually related. It just seems like an apt pairing. But the other thing that people wanted to see it with, I saw a bunch of people ask about, was the Froggy set. And
I think it works quite all right.
It kind of does. I mean, if you only had the hoodie and pants and
the face mask, just the face mask with it, I think might work better. Because then you kind of do look like a frog as well.
Yeah, you probably won't catch me running around with a tier 3 face without the chest to match. But,
yeah.
I guess it's all about what you got with you and how you feel like dressing. So what we can do is put on the forest green camo, because it's probably like the most appropriate for like a camouflage test. And then we can just take a trot over here and show this off in some little green bushes and trees I put out here. So if you don't mind popping out here, yeah, that's a good spot.
Yep, I was trying to figure out a decent spot. Like, I was going to try and do it like just an old man who walks out his door and goes, aliens, damn kids. But yeah, go on. Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know if your lighting is set to, optimal conditions. You can kind of dial through that as, to kind of show off the...
I think I got a good contrast there now. I think. Do you reckon I should be a bit
make
darker?
Sure you get make sure you get a whole range. Show it in the morning, show it in the evening.
Yeah, go on then. So start moving
back
around.
Through that. Get the sun over on the other side too, because you're showing it just in shadow there. Okay. Yeah, I guess that's about what we got. So, yep. So get that to where you're liking, and then I'll just do a little roam through the bush here. So. I don't know, if I was chilling in the bushes, this might actually be sort of effective. Definitely helps to blend in a little bit. So I'm gonna run back over here, do a little test in the trees, maybe. See how that looks. Oh,
a little bit better off when you're a bit further away. It's just taking a while for my lighting to adjust. If you could run a little bit through, just right in the middle between the trees, I reckon. Yeah. During a certain time of day, it kind of does a decent job. And then you can jump into the other bush if you like. So yeah, it's that kind of brighter upper chest part that kind of gives you away a bit. That's one thing I do notice, like very noticeably, that you're there. Plus the big opening on the eyes, it kind of gives you, it's kind of noticeable as well. But, you know, for a budget set, I really wouldn't say no. But during the day when the light's really shining onto the bush, it's kind of noticeable, Mr. MICRØ. There's probably better options out there, but hey, they probably cost a whole lot more. This is brand new. It's only going to cost you, in total, about $2.20 for that whole green setup there. So, bang, 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 bang. Right, got me an alien. So yeah, I shouldn't have built a home near Area 51, should I? It would be cool if they did add aliens to Rust, but, like, might be a bit too outlandish, or would it? Because this is like a very weird sort of facility, isn't it? We're all being tested on, like in real life, MICRØ. You put your conspiracy nut set back on. That makes sense then. Right. Do you want to go stand back over there? Give us one more look, and we'll discuss about the financial potential. So, at the moment, gentlemen, this could potentially turn into a collection. There's no guarantees. There's no guarantees we'll get more pieces being accepted. Not too long ago, just shy of about 3 months ago, we had the Elite Crate Tier 3 being accepted. And we compared that in the foresty areas with the Frog Cosplay hoodie and pants, if you can remember that. And, well, that did very nicely in the foresty grassy areas. And then we got Tier 2 being submitted. And we crossed our fingers. We hoped. We sincerely hoped that could have been accepted, but it never was. It never was. And unfortunately, now that this has also appeared, I think, it's been going down in price regardless, but the Tier 3 armor has started to go down in price. People were hopeful. People were thinking, oh, surely we'll get a full set of Elite Crate, but it never happened, unfortunately. So whilst you see this, you never know. Will it turn into a proper collection, or will it just simply end where it started? There's no guarantees. It's happened many times in the past, and it's happening quite a lot recently as well. I mean, we had like Apostate, that never really went anywhere. What else have we had quite recently? Cool, what else have we had? In fact, we haven't even had that much clothing and armor being accepted that wasn't like Burlap or Hide. We haven't seen many hoodie pants, Tier 3 and Tier 2. It's strange. Like, we used to see either hoodie, pants, Tier 3 armor or Tier 2 armor being accepted nearly every week. Now it's a rare sight to see. Like, yeah, I actually, to be honest, I'll point this out. This is the first Tier 3 armor to be accepted that was marketable, and we're almost in March time. That's incredibly rare. I've never seen it like this before. Let's put it that way. It's a surprise to me. So maybe things might change as we start going through these next few weeks, these next few months. I don't know, but with more variety of other random things recently, it's led to the core pieces not getting as much acceptances. And we have seen some collections not really gain any traction. Oh, we've seen many submissions and many attempts to get new skins of collections being accepted, but they just never came and they were never accepted. So yeah, that's it.
Sounds like a conspiracy to me.
You were waiting for that, weren't you? Right then, guys, so that's pretty much everything. Mr. MICRØ, do you have any final words that you might want to sit there and say? Because in regards to that UFO Tier 3, that's got like 14,000 sales already. I kind of look at it now and I think I'd rather do a buy order. If it did get Tier 2 or hoodie and pants being accepted in the future, of course, that would go up in price. Oh, of course, yeah. But, I don't know. Maybe MICRØ has to wait for the final week of March, the next wacky silly picks. But yeah, I don't think there's much else to talk about. That's all of the skins this week. The newest Rust store with 10 skins, which is a rare sight to see in itself. But next week is March 4 swipe. We are expecting, the few changes here and there. It's not supposed to be a big update next week, is it, MICRØ? But a good, interesting batch of changes with 4 swipe, where we should be seeing a lot of people jumping in and enjoying themselves, because that is usually the case. Loads of people like to jump in when it's nice and fresh. Everyone's on equal terms, and well, that usually is the time where most people are playing the game throughout the whole month, usually the weekend as well. And with loads of people playing the game, Facepunch probably want to put out some skins that are most likely going to sell very, very well. Picture this. If they are expecting tons of people to be playing at a very specific time. Loads of people. A lot more people are going to be seeing these new skins. So best serve them the things that are going to sell the best. This is where the continuations of the workshop that we're about to show you is going to be very interesting, because you've got to start rubbing your hands and thinking, maybe I should invest into these collections, because these potential new continuations will be causing those pre-existing skins to go up in price. All right? So we've got a lot of interesting things to show off in a minute, but we also have this in a particular way, don't we, Mr. MICRØ? We have a format and how we're going to show it off. Would you like to take over in regards to that, Mr. MICRØ, as I get myself nice and ready?
Sure. I'd like to point out one thing. Behind me is a big satellite dish, and I've been using that to contact the aliens in between our streams here. It's no.
Go home, E.T.
Ouch.
Right. So, MICRØ, I don't want to be showing this off right now, because we have deplorables to show off. You just tell me when you're ready. But yeah, gentlemen, we have a very interesting batch of skins to show off here, and you have to keep an eye out, because we are seeing some patterns, noticeably as of recent. There's another pattern that I want to bring up to you, but we'll save it for the last deplorable. Well, one of the last deplorables that we'll be talking about, because it's becoming, we constantly have to anticipate, we constantly have to figure out what potentially might be coming soon, and we like to make moves, we like to make investments, and of course we like to try and make those delicious profits. Mr. MICRØ, no, over here. Yeah, because you've got to explain the routine of how we're showing these skins off. Mr. MICRØ, you got a little mark there. Do you want to just wipe it off?
My face feels a little funny.
Oh, there you go. I cleaned it off for you.
Stings a little bit. Okay, thank you. I feel better now.
Go ahead, Mr. MICRØ.
Did you just kiss it? You just kissed my boo-boo?
No.
You made it all better.
No. Go on, Mr. MICRØ.
I hear an animal over there.
No. Just focus the deplorables. Ah, damn it. One sec. Where is he? He's gone.
I scared him off.
Good. Right.
Okay. So what we're going to do here is we're going to go through like we normally do and discuss the continuations of any sets that are on the workshop. So in other words, right now we go and look at the workshop. We identify anything that's been submitted for acceptance that qualifies as a continuation. So that's what we've been showing off. That's what we're doing. But we've been collecting some new data lately. And when I go and I get this list of skins, I'm doing this with a piece, some software that I wrote. And I'm now gathering up some data to go along with it that consists of the quantity of favorites and the quantity of votes up or down. And this is interesting information. It's not necessarily actionable, but it is sort of a nice way to look at things. So we're going to show off a few things later on that are like the most liked favorited skins of the week. So we're going to focus on the most liked, and they'll be ordered that way. But that number of likes is going to drive the sequence where we show off these workshop continuations this week. So we're going to start things off like we normally do here with deployables from our continuation section, but we're going to start in ascending order of quantity of likes. Yes. So this is all the continuations in order of likes, beginning with the Bismuth door. And I've put these two together here. There's the glowing and non-glowing version, and we're showing both sides. So on the left is the glow version, on the right is the non-glowing version, and the left side is the front, and the right is the back, the inside of the non-glowing version. Sorry, that's complicated to say, but the armor door itself is complicated because there's two sides to it. So we wanted to show both sides, but then it's additionally complicated here because one has a glow and one does not. So if you're showing off the glowing version there, or you have Rust Plus app, you can just shut off those stage lights.
Yes, I do.
If I get to it before you do, there we go. So this is a particularly interesting door. We had the sheet metal door last week, and then we have the armored door this week. And this time around, we have a glowing version. I don't think we had a glow last time. And I think it looks pretty cool. I've baked a few glows on armored doors before, and I can tell you that there's a couple challenges, namely the the emission map is duplicated for the key lock area on both sides. So your glow has to be sensible and work with both sides of the door. Sometimes the artists kind of fudge it, and the glow from the front doesn't always work on the back. I've ran into that myself. And then baking the glow on that little hatch portion is also something you have to take into consideration. But overall, it's pretty well done. It looks like it's, got a glow emitting from that fluorescent tube up at the top. And what I particularly like about the glow is the fact that it sort of helps to conceal your position. If you were to crouch walk past it, like, you can kind of not break stealth as you're doing that. And that might be a factor for you as you're defending a raid in your base, or maybe you like having glowing deployables that make raiders visible to you if you're getting raided. So it's all about your play style and how you want to use it. But I do like having the lower half be relatively not illuminated. That way you can conceal your passage past there if you wanted to. I know that's a very small element to consider, but it's definitely something to think about when you're using this in game.
Yes, for a long time,
it's a cool looking skin.
For a long time, we were talking about the very helpful benefits of trying to only keep the glow in the dark in the upper half, and well, it might come across as a bit odd with literally just the lighting panel. If I quickly switch to there, but I don't see it in a bad way. Like, in a sense, for how he's made it look at night time. So back over to here with the way he's presented it all and whatnot. I think he's done a very good job. Like, if it were to just emit as a glow, I think that would look a bit weird. The fact that it's got literally a light on the top, and the way he's used it, I think he's done a pretty effective job. Because I know a lot of people are just going to instantly look at that and think, ugh, that doesn't really fit. Well, I mean, if he did it the other way, I don't think people would like it either. But, Well,
the other way you're referring to is like a crude technique where people apply the diffuse map in the emissive map placeholder, and it sort of just, the whole thing emits light sort of uniformly as if it was, it's not realistic like this. So if you include a light emitting design or a design element in your overall skin, like, if, for an example, we've seen many of these, but just last week or so, we saw that the furnace with the torches on the side that served to light up the outside of it when it was turned on. That had that light emitting element as part of the design, and then it can sort of cast light upon itself, which is exactly what we see here. And I think that's the most realistic way to do that. If they were to have just chose to make the whole thing emissive, that ends up being a little hokey looking, and I don't think that's really stands a chance for most skin submissions. Won't be accepted on account of a simple glow like you're describing. So yeah, this is really the only way to do it, I think.
So this is made by Mr. Wirecat, trying to turn it into a collection. Recently only just had the sheet metal door being accepted. It's in contention to potentially appear for the March wipe Rustle rotation. And I think he's got a pretty decent shout here. It's a good piece of work. It's got two options. Chat, which do you approve of? The glow-in-the-dark version or the non-glow version? Which team are you on?
Can you show the non-glow version at night? I can do the headlamp test here just to kind of shed a little angular light on it from a steep angle to really show off the contour of the depth map there, the normal map. Pretty nice job there, giving it that depth and that sort of geometric look. I like the shine on it too. The use of the gloss map there is pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm liking that. When I was moving the lights around from the sunlight, it made me go whoa. So yeah, very glossy, very shiny, very reflective, and I think a lot of people would like that. I like the pattern. I like what he's made, and I look forward to seeing what else he makes. Mr. MICRØ, do you think we've done a good job showcasing this? Where'd the lights go? There they go. Yeah. Hey. Right. So, Mr. MICRØ, shall we move on to the next deployable?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Moving right along.
This had more votes. We should probably point out then. These had more votes. Or rather, we should actually be more specific. One of them had more votes, but because they're technically alternate versions of each other, one's more likely going to represent the collection better. But yeah, which one had more votes, to be specific, Mr. MICRØ?
the Bismuth door, the non-glowing version had more votes.
Yep.
And for the Blue Lotus door, the glowing version had more votes. So
let's just get the daylight back, and here we are. Mr. JJ returns with a wooden door. We have both glowing and non-glowing version. To the right is our glow, to the left is our non-glow. But during the day, we can see a full look at the pattern, the design. Spirograph, it's correct. That's correct, isn't it, Mr. MICRØ? Spirograph, the fun little designs where you kind of just spin around with those plastic things and you can draw wacky looking designs such as this. Is that correct? I just want to make sure if it's correct.
Spirograph is like a toy,
Yes.
where you can draw some like circular or like radial patterns, and I guess you could probably create some kind of design like this on here. As far as I could tell, it's like sort of radially arrayed circles, but that's not really that useful to describe it in precise geometry terms. I think it looks cool. It bears resemblance to a lotus flower in terms of that concentric petals that work their way outwards. And I mean, we saw it start with the small wood box, and we've seen a few other submissions since then. I think the design translates well to a wooden door here, so we'll see. It's anybody's guess how if we want to see a continuation of this.
Looks very nice. He hasn't been super successful since he had a small box being accepted. He's made attempts, he's tried. Well, I wouldn't say no to this. Looks pretty cool.
We did see attempts with the large wood box, and we saw an attempt with the double sheet door. And well, you know, persistence is you know, it can be valuable, or you know, like with these sets that we see with the large storage collections, we see people persisting on submitting those, and it almost seems you have to wonder if that's the right thing to do. So I don't know when the right point is to abandon your baby, but you know, I think that the small wood box was really a cool and unique looking item when that got introduced. Whether or not it gets continued into a set, it's hard to say.
Yeah. Right then. So, best of luck to you, JJ. Chat, which do you prefer? Non-glow or glow? What's your choice? Right, so now we're going to move on to talking about certain box. MICRØ, is this good for holding things? It's got holes in it. I'm not sure.
It's good for larger items. Wouldn't store liquids in here, though.
I mean, you know, if you had tools in here, some of them might fall out.
I wouldn't put fire in there either. No liquids, no fire.
I just hit my head against the wall. Sorry about that. Okay, I'm good.
There's two versions of this. I'll put this other one out here. I'll stick it over here.
Yep, that's good. So, gentlemen, what I have right in front of me is the return of the Twig collection. So, looks like Twig collection is its own separate thing, but we also have like a resources collection over there. So they're both made by Freddy. Here, I see you. Stop selling so much. But yes, we now have both a Twig collection and a resources door collection. So this is obviously part of the Twig collection, looking very nice. Does this mean we might have a log collection and a stone collection? I don't know, but hey, I'm sure you wouldn't mind to have one of these. As I said, it might have a bit of a problem here and there holding some things, wink wink, but you know, that's just a joke. These are perfectly fine the way they are. Fun design, very silly, but is it to your taste? Apparently not to that guy. That guy specifically in the chat. Yep, they do not glow. But here they are. Now, we have seen the likes of the Twig wooden door and the small box go down in price. Wooden door, not surprised, it had a ridiculous amount of sales, but with the small box, that went down to about that only had 11,000 sales, so quite surprised by that. Maybe it's because it looked like it wasn't actually going to turn into a full-fledged collection. Well, now we've got a little bit of reassurance. We do see some more Twig skins being made. What's happened, Mr. MICRØ?
I'm sorry, I took myself off of mute. Keep going.
Oh, okay, that's all good. No worries. I got a bit worried there. I thought you were making a joke. Oh no, more Twig stuff. But hey, honestly, Freddy, where's the Twig furnace? I'm just saying. I'm just saying a twig furnace would probably be a very nice idea for this. I think that would be perfectly fine for the final week of March. Just saying, wacky, silly ideas. If you time it right, mate, I reckon you could get your twig furnace accepted. But for now, this right here, gentlemen, do you approve? Is this the type of large box that you'd like to have in your base? If you like what you see, from all of these skins that we've shown off today as well, please consider going to the workshop and consider voting yes or no. It's up to you. But yeah, as of now, these two box skins are doing better in terms of the wooden door over there, the Blue Lotus wooden door, and the Bismuth armor door over there in terms of votes. But doesn't guarantee it's going to be accepted. But you can always show your support, not only to Face Punch, but the skin creators themselves. A nice morale boost. Keeps them motivated. You could even hop into the comments and say, hey, I've got an idea. Why not try this? Doesn't hurt, you know. It's nice to see that people are invested in their collections. Would you agree to that, Mr. MICRØ? Would you reckon that's helpful if someone just comes along and say, you know what? Water purifier.
That'd be nice. Yeah.
So, yeah. All right. All good then. So, Mr. MICRØ, do you have any other words that you might want to say, or shall we move on to the next one?
Nope, I got my mic situation under control now. I was talking to my chat earlier, and that's why I accidentally left myself unmuted and inserted my uh-oh comment there inappropriately. That was not related to the box here. It was just talking about something entirely different. But yeah, let's move on here to the JPEG wooden door.
Boom. Someone printed out a door, Mr. MICRØ. It's 2D, it's the JPEG collection returning. Gentlemen, gaze upon the JPEG's return with the wooden door. Get a look at this. So, it appears that Mr. GBG has returned with a JPEG wooden door. I've got to go quite far back, because if you can remember, JPEG collection had quite a decent amount of weapons. Then we dabbled into clothing and armor. And then we dabbled into deployables. We had a few doors, didn't we? Well, get a look at this. We've returned back to doors because we were seeing some attempts for the hoodie and pants that finally got accepted. We saw another attempt for the likes of the what am I trying to say? The tier 3. Unfortunately, that never happened, so that was unfortunate. But yes, we have the continuations on the deployable side of things. Do you approve? Is this the type of door that you need in your life? You know, at the moment, quite a lot of votes for this. It's doing pretty good. And if we could just make it to nighttime. Well, that's brighter. That's darker. No, this does not glow. Let's just make it a nice dusk sky. Mr. MICRØ, do you have any words that you might want to say in regards to this? It's probably not too much. It's, 2D. It's Borderlands style, cell shaded.
Yeah, it's very JPEG-y.
Yes, I mean, if he really wanted to make it very JPEG-y, he should make it like very what's the term? When it's really artifact. What am I trying to say? How would you properly describe?
Oh well, you that's actually the right word. Compression artifacts. Yes. Pixelated. Yeah. Reduced color palette.
That would be a fun alternate version that you could do for some of these skins. But yeah. And that's basically it, gentlemen. Do you like what you see? Please consider offering a vote or two, or, just keep an eye out. Maybe that might be accepted, maybe it won't. Just keep yourself prepared. Right, Mr. MICRØ, we're now...
moving along to the highest... Yeah. Oh, are we not moving along?
No, we are moving along. I was just surprised. We're moving along. We're moving along. Raise your hands up, Mr. MICRØ. What was that? Open the door. Okay, joking. Right, so... This was the... In terms of deployables, this was the deployable with the most number of votes this week. Not that we're doing vote section just yet, but this happens to be the highest rated deployable on the workshop, so we'll put it that way. Yes, so... This right here isn't too surprising, is it? We've been seeing a lot of Milio Fritos tempered deployable skins being submitted and accepted, and a lot of people have shown their appreciation, buying out tons of them, very in demand, and this had a lot of interest, didn't it, Mr. MICRØ? As you said, highest voted deployable out of all the continuations that we're showing in this section. It has been getting a lot of attention, and this is where I bring up the pattern. It's not a guarantee that this will be accepted, but for the previous 2 Force Wipe Rustle Rotations. The very first one of the year, January, we had the large box being accepted. For February, we had the small box being accepted. Guess what's perfectly in line for March Force Wipe? Yes, you picked correct, Mr. MICRØ. It's the double sheet metal tempered door made by Mr. Emilio Frito. Gentlemen, gaze upon what potentially might be a $5 skin. Because if the garage door was $5, I wouldn't be surprised in the slightest if this is going to be $5, maybe more. Get a good look at all of these nice indents on the sides. You can see all the ridges of the pattern, the pink, the purple, the yellow. Wow. You can see all of that, but how about we make it nighttime? Well, bam. Now you can truly see the reflection of the light. Get a look at that. So yeah, guys, everything's lining up perfectly for this to potentially be accepted. I know we don't see that many sheet metal doors being accepted. That is true. We did see quite a lot towards the end of 2022. We saw 3 marketable ones. I kind of feel like this is pretty much perfectly set up to potentially be accepted. Like, I honestly think this is going to be doing quite all right. I think it's going to be accepted. I think we're going to be very happy. And in the long term, will this be a nice investment? Well, go take a look at all the sheet metal doors right now. I think all of them are in the positive at the moment. The only cause for concern I would have is, whoa, where am I? Oh, I just hit my head again. Sorry about that. So yes, lights out. Oh, but yeah. All the double sheet metal door skins right now are in the positive. During post-Christmas, they all rose up very nicely. You might sit there and say some of the ones we saw last year weren't that very appealing, colourful, interesting. Well, gentlemen, they still went up in price. So keep an eye on this guy, because you're very likely potentially going to be seeing him appear next week. This is lining up to be a very interesting looking week next week. I hope you got your money ready, because I don't think it's going to be cheap either. Yeah, MICRØ, would you like to move along around, showcasing properly how the lighting appears when you have your minus hat? I know you did it earlier, but we'll probably sit still now and you can just kind of show it off. Because, yeah, all the nice ridges and the edges, reflecting that light very nicely, looking very good. Of course, it glows in the dark as well. So, yeah, get a look at that. Very nice. Wouldn't be surprised if it's accepted. However, here's the extra thing. We have seen problems with the likes of the box skins. They had over 30,000 sales. That was a problem because, again, oversaturation problems. We've mentioned this more than once already this stream. If we do get a very ridiculous amount of sales with the likes of this as well, that's going to be an issue in regards to, well, they're probably not going to hold their value. Let me put it this way. Large box is doing all right. Small box is doing all right, but they're not doing as good as the likes of the garage door and the sheet metal door. They didn't sell much. The first 2 original tempered deplorables that first came out quite some time back, they only had like 15,000 sales each, and then they went up to about $10 each as well. Above $10 and above during the very, very, very good times. So this appearing could potentially give a nice boost to all of the tempered deplorables. It would be expected. Reactionary nature of the Rust economy, but with deplorables. But after that, if this ends up with a very ridiculously high amount of sales at a high price, it's probably going to struggle. We only just had a week since we had like a $4.49 garage door and a $3.50 locker, and they immediately went below their Rust door price. Higher valuable skins tend to struggle. I'm just saying this because I fully believe this is going to sell for $4 or $5. So just be prepared. And of course, with what we've seen with the tempered skins, you get the idea. So keep your eyes open. Pattern suggests this will likely be accepted. There's no guarantees, but I'm looking forward to it. Right, MICRØ, do you have anything that you might want to sit there and say for our lovely, shiny, glow-in-the-dark looking double sheet metal door?
Well, I'm going to go ahead and say it. See you on Thursday. I'll be buying this one probably.
Yeah. He even timed it perfectly. Emilio probably even realizes it now, doesn't he? So with what we would normally expect for a typical pick, the skin appears by the end. So it has to appear before Monday 23:59, and then that gets reviewed, puts into a list with by that German guy, TGG. And then the next week, That then gets put towards Face Punch, and they review it. They pick out the skins usually based on what they've seen there. And the reason why I bring this up is because this is perfectly in line to appear for March 4 swipe. And recently, we've been seeing a lot of typical picks being accepted. This past week, this new batch of skins that we just had accepted 2 days ago, all of them were typical picks. So I deliberately mean it. This is lining up perfectly. But the other reason why I bring that up is because we have another skin to show off, don't we, Mr. MICRØ? Right next to it. Because a little something kind of happened that we should point out. Mr. Kavensi's Constellations locker skin, he submitted it like an hour and a half later, didn't he? And if he has a good enough reason, like if he just gave word beforehand that his skin was going to be a little bit late, due to a certain reason, this should totally be fine in terms of being a typical pick, potentially for not next week but the week after. Actually, no. This is in the same. Oh, I'm lost now, MICRØ.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
you take over.
There's, TGG has submitting guidelines to make it into his collections and into his videos. Of course, the belief is that you could be accepted after submitting at any time. I mean, things get picked the same day they're submitted sometimes on a rare occasion, but usually among the community, the guideline is submit by Monday, 23:59 PST, and that's how you secure your spot in line for that week's TGG collection. And so this week, the items that were submitted would be accepted next week following the 1 week delay, and it would be considered like typical skins. So anything submitted this past Monday could potentially be on the store next Thursday, and they would be typical skins. Now, this locker was like 90 minutes after the conventional deadline, which is, I believe, okay. Usually there's like exceptions made for extenuating circumstances, but I don't make the rules there in terms of what qualifies for the collection and whatnot. It's just, there's a time when you need to have it in by to be considered for submissions for the week. This being only a few minutes after the deadline, I mean, I can't hate on that. I mean, maybe he ran into internet troubles or whatever. So I don't know the ups or downs there, but the fact that it was a little after the deadline means if you really draw the line there, this would be considered an early pick if it gets chosen next week. But if you allow it to be considered among the collection that was submitted for Monday, then it would just be part of our typicals. So this one's sort of uncertainty for us. We've showed all the other skins, the deployables for this week that were within the time frame. This falls outside the time frame by a little bit. But it's still probably good to be aware of it because we have other items in this collection that exist. And I could very easily see this being chosen this week because it's been a relatively popular set. So if he went ahead and chose this, we would have been amiss to overlook this and save it for next week. So we'll have to figure out what to do, whether we bring this up next week as like one of the typical submissions or not. I guess we'll find out as the time goes by here. We'll see which list that ends up being included on. And we're just showing it now just to stay informed and stay ahead of any potential acceptances that come up here on Thursday. So figured it'd be good to show it just for the heck of it. And what do we have to lose? It's good to stay informed, but just be aware that this technically doesn't fall into the typical skin submissions for this past Monday. It's technically a little bit late, but I'm not going to hold it against them. Yeah. I think it's a cool looking skin. And like I said, it's already there's already a number of skins in the collection. So we'll see. This has potential, I would say. Yep. Although you might have some words to say from the investment side when it comes to lockers and the rate of been seeing those get accepted lately. So
you read me like a book. I guess I'll jump into that bit then. We're seeing a lot of locker skins being accepted. I was making the joke how, maybe we're going to see a whole lot more after seeing the control panel locker just about, a week ago? Well, Constellations has been pretty good with getting its skins accepted. Kavensi, very successful with his Outer Balance collection as well. If this gets accepted, I'm going to start worrying about locker skins because, Since we saw the control panel locker being accepted, I saw the lunar locker go down in price below its rustore price. If we see this being accepted, I wouldn't be surprised if the other, including the control panel locker, the lunar locker and the control panel locker going down in price, because with a lot more options appearing in such a short amount of time, that leads to problems. That leads to not enough room to grow. We've seen that very same issue happen during all of 2022 with the likes of armored door skins. An item that used to rarely ever have skins accepted, suddenly having tons of skins accepted. All of those new armored door skins never really going anywhere in terms of value because there's far too many of them within the year. That is something that we haven't seen this year with armored doors, but we're seeing it with the likes of garage doors, and we're maybe seeing it with the likes of lockers. There's no guarantee. Maybe we've already had our 2 locker skins of the year in that set. This is a nice attempt. This is a nice submission, but we will see where it potentially goes. There's no guarantees that skin will be accepted. We have seen Constellation skins being submitted and not being accepted, haven't we, Mr. MICRØ? So, you know, just because it's different, just because it's part of an interesting collection, doesn't mean it's guaranteed to be accepted. I like it, it looks cool, but we shall see what happens in regards to, you know, its submission time, and of course, will it be actually accepted regardless. So, thank you very much for that, Mr. MICRØ. I got a little bit confused myself over there, but you said it perfectly. Thank you very much. And that right there is the last continuation deplorable to bring up. Now, that wasn't structured by votes. We simply kept this separate because we assumed, well, we weren't 100% sure if this is definitely going to be perfectly fine for the next TGG top picks list. So if we see it in that list next week, then yeah, it seems like everything worked out all right for that in the end. It seems like Mr. Kvency did have a perfectly fine reason for why he was a little bit late. But, you know, it's a fairly regular thing. Don't assume he's royally ruined himself or anything. It happens quite a lot. So, Mr. MICRØ, we're now moving on to weapons, and I have in my hands the Eoka pistol for the Arctic collection. Gentlemen, get a look at that. Ooh. Now, well, I keep seeing my hand appear. Have you... That's weird. I did it again. MICRØ, I think my hand's broken. Can you fix it?
No, that's your hand. So when you go to hit the Eoka, you end up showing your hand because you lift the stone up to strike it. So it's part of the animation.
Oh.
There was stuff gets really weird if you put on the new Arctic Hazy. Like it does an even weirder kind of animation.
Well,
I think it's the Arctic Hazy. It's either that or the snow or the spacesuit. I forget.
1, 2, 3, 4. I declare on Eoka war. Go on. All right, go on. You go over there behind your box. I'll go home on my box, and we'll jump and attack each other.
I want to. Yeah, the hand is even more visible when you see it in the Arctic suit for whatever reason.
Oh, do you want to pass it over to me? I'll wear it as well. That's just a fun, weird little tidbit to show off, I guess. This wasn't planned. This was just we're doing it. So I guess we're doing it. So here we go. N. Oh, yeah, it appears as well. I never noticed that until now. Yeah, I did it again.
Anytime you equip your weapon, your hand will like move up. Actually, you know, I thought they took that out. I thought they got rid of that from the game. Maybe it's a bug that got reintroduced.
All right, no
like
worries.
Equip and unequip your weapon. You can spam that, and you can see the hand will rise up. That's a thing with the Eoka.
Anyway, go on. We've got to show it off.
Just hit the button for the hotbar item, and it'll equip and dequip. Yeah, look at that. Great stuff. We love you, Face Punch.
I'm literally just going, woo! anyway, let's focus on you. Mr. MICRØ. Oh, no, don't shoot me. Don't be shooting. No, don't do it. Don't do it. I have so much to live for. Please don't. Please don't. Stop it. No. Oh, you're just doing the thing that
I'm just goofing around.
I thought I had time to... no, don't. Stop it. Anyway, show it to the side, please, Mr. MICRØ. There we go. Yes. Arctic collection is now moving on to weapons. Well, actually, this isn't actually the first one. We had a combat knife like a few months ago, didn't we? So, I guess you could say this is the first gun. So, get a look at that, gentlemen. Arctic collection, dabbling into weapons again. Now I've got the hiccups. I don't know how that happened. Maybe you need to scare me, Mr. MICRØ. But yes, we are now dabbling into Arctic weapons. Let's make this nighttime. Yeah, I actually never knew about the hand thing, or rather I never noticed it until now. Well, when I got extra self-conscious about what's on my screen, I became more aware of it. But yes. Yep. So in terms of the Eoka skin, we haven't had one accepted since like May 2022, so I guess it couldn't hurt. You tell me. So, yep, Mr. MICRØ, do you have any words for the Eoka that you're holding in your hands? Or is it nice and cold? MICRØ, do you have any words?
It probably looks pretty good with the rest of the burlap set.
Do you wanna...
with the let me see if I have it here. Yeah, I have some burlap. I got the poncho. I think I lost the hoodie. Nope, or the jacket or the shirt. I do have it though. Put that stuff on. Really show off the Arctic protection set here, and you could see that.
You look like a man that's going to mug me in the snow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we got it on the side.
Eoka's there on my hip. Take a look at that with the rest of the set.
Yeah. Blends in very nicely. Of course, it's the same collection. Duh. So yeah, potentially, could we see this being accepted? It'd be nice to see. All right then, Mr. MICRØ, thank you for showing that off. Let's now talk about the Blackboard SMG. Give us a wave, Mr. MICRØ. Goodbye. All right, back to me. Bam. Okay, so in my hands, we have the continuation of the Blackboard collection. No weird hand movement there. Okay, so we have the same fun little writings on the side, the formulas, aim down. In most environments, the white tip would be helpful, but maybe not for the snowy area. Give it a nice
At least
reload.
you still have the rear sight to put some sort of visual on where the centerpiece is. You know, the front sight appears right in the middle between the two rear sights, so even in the snow, you could still kind of see where you're aiming.
I do like the aim sights that have two different colours, so it's always still a little bit helpful just to get a good idea. For all backgrounds, it's extra helpful. But hey, it's Blackboard, so it's either going to be black or white. Because, you know, unless you have colourful chalk, I'm just saying. Right, here we are. There we go. Get a good look at that. How are Eokas as investments? Not the best. Yeah. Custom SMGs are kind of the same. Low on the totem pole, I guess you could say, Mr. MICRØ. It's nice to have it if it's all you have, but, you know, tends to be better options. Also, you know, real up close it's going to be helpful for you, but, yeah. Oh, got a little face there. So, yeah. That is it. Let's go to nighttime. Get a good look to the side. And, yeah. We've seen many Blackboard skins, and this is another. Will Mr. Kua go for the full set of guns? Or will he move into clothing, armor, maybe? You know what? I think you could do a Blackboard garage door. I think that could be doable. I think you could do it. Or a rug. That could be done. Think of the new potential ideas, Mr. Kua. But yes, maybe we're going to stick with more guns for now. Any words that you might want to say, Mr. Mike? Oh, long sword, but it's a big giant block of chalk. Yes, yes. There we go. Perfect. Right, Mr. MICRØ. Sorry for Go on, your turn. Do you want to say anything?
Yeah, I mean, it's we know we already have how many Blackboard skins were accepted? The Revolver, and then, or do I have that wrong?
Revolver wasn't accepted. He had his LR300 accepted. And I think that was it.
Yeah, I think it was just one item. There was the LR. Yeah, he made an MP5, SAR, crossbow, Revi, AK, and now we're on the SMG. And the only criticism I could make, and I hesitate to call it a criticism, because, you know, it's the artists in charge of their own design here, and I certainly can't hate on that. I mean, That's the beauty part about art, is it's just not everybody likes it, but you know, it certainly stems from the mind of the creator here. Maybe for him, school was very repetitive and very, you know, felt like the same thing every time. I kind of get that feeling here. I mean, the design doesn't seem to vary too much from skin to skin.
Yeah, he could have changed things up for every single gun. He could have changed formulas, could have changed doodles. It could have been different. Could have been. So if you are going to move it on to the likes of clothing and deplorables and whatnot, that might be something that we could suggest to you, Mr. Kua. Maybe you could change some things up there. Maybe that's the one ingredient you've been missing that potentially might have made you miss out and get more acceptances. No guarantee for it, but you could constantly theorize potential different ideas and whatnot. This is why we do sit here and say, if you've got a nice idea and whatnot, please go to the workshop page and, you know, just add a comment. Hey, I like this, but how about if you did this instead? Couldn't hurt, you know. It's not like the creator's going to look at you and say, I'm going to kill you. No. Just, you know, talk. You know, you're showing interest in the skin itself, and you think, you know what, I think I could offer my own opinion where we could see a nice, interesting change or a difference. That could make a massive change, not only in terms of the skin, but you could give them a completely different type of perspective and whatnot. Plus, you know, you're showing support by showing interest in the skin, keeps them motivated, keeps the morale up for them. So I'm just saying. But what Mr. MICRØ just said is something he himself could write on the workshop page, the comment section. So, you know, feel free to just consider doing that. But, you know, be polite, be nice, and then everything works out all right, doesn't it? So, yeah, good stuff there, Mr. Kua. I think we've said everything.
I like the concept. I want to just wrap that up by saying, you know, I'm not hating on it. I'm not saying like, oh, it's terrible because of this or that. I'm just saying the design has seen like the same implementation each time, and maybe that is holding it back, because I think if it was just the second one, I wouldn't be so critical, but after 7 skins now, I'm starting to see the pattern, and
yeah, I saw the pattern a long time ago.
yeah, I don't know, it's got to admire the commitment and the effort put into it, but I guess I don't know. I guess I don't have much else to say there.
Fear not, Mr. MICRØ. We shall move on. Right, so next weapon we have the Toxic Wolf M249. The last M249 to be accepted was back at Christmas time, and well, Mr. Zinc, what do we see? It's dirty green and yellow. It's got a lot of interesting design on the side. A very, what's the right term? Slobbery looking wolf. Slobbery would be the term, I'm sure, but here you go. Actually, no, there's a Amazon package. Oh no, I've run out of ammo. Damn it. I wanted to steal. Oh no, it's mine now. Yes, I stole the neighbour's package. So come on, reload. Let's go. Wabam. Yep. Toxic Wolf, we've seen this collection since 2021. Is it earlier than 2021, Mr. MICRØ? Did it come out 2020? I don't fully remember, but we did see a couple skins being accepted in 2022. We saw the likes of the bow skin and, what else was there? The sleeping bag. We saw a lot of submissions, but not everything was accepted.
There's been a bunch, though. In the game, we have the AK, the SAR, the crossbow, the Tommy, the pump shotgun, the bow, the sleeping bag, and now we're seeing the M2. But we also saw non-accepted skins in the satchel, the poncho, the bandana, SMG, pickaxe, hatchet. There was a sheet metal door. There was an L9. There was MP5. There was a tier 3 metal face and chest. There was an M39. There's an LR. There was a bolty, and we've been seeing sort of hit or miss on the acceptances there. So it's been mostly confined to the weapons here. In fact, aside from the sleeping bag, they've all been basically weapons. So M2's, you know, definitely on the list here, and that's what I'm holding in my hand. So we'll see. Does this have what it takes to make it in the store? We'll see. I think it's. I mean, it certainly looks like it's a nice continuation of the set. I like the little splatterings of Oh, I don't know what that is. I mean, is it slobber? Is it nuclear waste?
It's slobber.
Is it toxic sludge? I don't know.
I just want to point out, I've seen this before, but the tip of the gun keeps wobbling and it looks really silly.
Yeah, that's a Unity thing. That's a game engine thing.
Yeah.
It's not because I'm cold and I'm not nervous, so...
Well, you don't know where the slobber came from. It's fine, MICRØ. It's fine. We can wash your hands afterwards.
What is all this green goo? Oh, gosh.
Well, I think you might be touching toxic waste. I'm just saying, don't worry, it's all good. Right, so, gentlemen.
It wouldn't be the first time.
Yep.
I'm sure it won't be the last.
So, yes, this is made by Master Zinc. Yes. Mr. Zinc. Very nice to see you're continuing the set. Could this be the first Toxic Wolf skin to be accepted this year? Well, I should point this out. Last year we saw four M249 skins being accepted, and very strangely they seem to appear like around literally 25% through the year. So I think it was like just about March time we saw the first M249 skin being accepted, and about halfway through the year the next one was, and then like what was it, 75% the way through we saw another one, and then at the very end, Christmas time, we saw the last one. So I'm just saying, maybe we'll see the pattern happen all over again. I haven't seen many other M249 skins being submitted recently, so maybe it'll work out for you. It's a nice set to see. It's been around for a couple of years. Maybe we'll see some more deployables. Maybe we'll see the return to you making some clothing and armor. There's a lot of potential with this. Let's see where you go next. So yeah. Cool stuff. Right then, Mr. MICRØ. Shall we move on to the next weapon? Yeah?
All right, let's do it.
Okay.
You know, I was just looking at myself in my own third-person camera. I just learned that you can't see the M2 on your back in the debug camera.
Really?
Yeah. It's not showing up for me. Maybe it's just an instance. It's in this particular instance. It's not working. But in my own third-person view, like if you put that on your back, and then like just if that's in your number one spot, just hit 1. There you go. Now look at yourself in third person. Oh, it shows for you.
Yeah,
it's not showing for me. So I must be having just a little. Yeah.
Maybe if I take that off.
That's very curious.
Now I'm a naked person.
Oh,
yeah.
And now it's back for me.
Yep.
Interesting.
MICRØ, I do believe
it's just a bug.
No, you're struggling from skill issue, my friend. Skill issue.
Maybe so.
Right, so I guess I'm going to...
At least I have clothes on.
Oh, shut up. Anyway, moving on to the next weapon, we have El Diablo Hunting Bow. Gentlemen, Mr. Eros is back. You don't realise, but right now I've just shot a rabbit from this distance. Yes. Right, get a good look at this. Yes. So we've quite recently just had the crossbow being... I see what you're up to. I see what you're up to. No, missed.
I'm friendly. I'm wearing glasses. You wouldn't hit a guy with glasses.
I'm just disappointed I missed that shot. Anyway. Good day. That was very, very disappointing. I can't believe I missed that shot. Let's just take a look at this. After all that time on the
on the bow practice.
Yeah, on the practice server, I screw up like that. So yes, we have Mr. Eros's next new skin. Gentlemen, get a look at this. As I said, we recently had the crossbow skin being accepted. Sold fairly all right. But I have pointed this out, Eros tends to get quite a lot of skins accepted. He's been quite successful with both his El Diablo collection and his Cybercode collection. They actually both started at the same time, so yep. It's a fun, not too crazy, but kind of down-to-earth sort of design. Well, you say that, and then it's got like the satanic symbol on here, so you know, you pick, you decide. But yeah. It's not super colourful is what I was saying. It's not too crazy. Did you just shoot my thing? That is very rude. Bad. No, stop this.
Yeah, I shot mine. Shot my name.
Anyway,
I'll dot my eye.
There's not really too much to really talk about in regards to this one. It's, you know, it's got the... I mean, that's it. I don't want to sound mean, but I don't really know what else to say. It's simply a matter of, you know, you've seen a few of them. They have the nice boiling hot metal designs and whatnot, but yeah, like hunting bows. Are they good investments? Not always, not always. If it does get accepted, have we had a hunting bow accepted this year? I don't think we have. No, we haven't. No, we had the leopard bow. That's incorrect. That was at the very beginning of this year. Yes. Lottie had the leopard bow being accepted. Yeah, that's not doing super good at the moment, is it? Oh, hello, guys. Zeus. How you doing, buddy? Hello, Divi Patter as well. But yeah, gentlemen, do you like what you see here? Do you like the El Diablo hunting bow? Because by default, I'm not super keen on hunting bow skins. Usually there's a few hand-picked ones that a lot of people like to go after. Blackout, there's the Azul one as well. So, yep, that's all good, Blob. That's all good. No worries, sit back, relax. We'll take a look at all the new skins that potentially might be coming out soon. MICRØ, you've got an arrow stuck in your arm. Let's move that. Let's move that back. I do not want to go to the hospital again. Right, so, gentlemen, if you like what you see, please consider offering a vote or two, and let's move on to the next thing. Next, we have the No Mercy Revolver. Gentlemen, No Mercy collection.
I'd like to interrupt Hedge. I'm sorry to do that, Hedge. I don't know why I felt it was so important to say this now, but we have been showing these in ascending order of favorites on the workshop here, bringing us here to the final weapon skin of the week in our continuation list. And this is the most highly rated weapon of the week.
Yes.
So
yes, this is. So let me just point out to you two very notable things. First of all, continuation of the No Mercy collection. What is the No Mercy collection? No Mercy collection is the most successful collection that there is in the game. It has like 29 acceptances so far. I believe there's more, I might be wrong. We recently just had the double barrel shotgun being accepted. Well, what do I have here in my hands? It is the Revolver. Gentlemen, what was the last Revolver skin to be accepted? You don't know, do you? The last Revolver skin to be accepted... Oh, we're going far back now, aren't we? I think it's the Colourful Revolver. August 2022? Yeah, you know, that was like 6-7 months ago. We don't see many Revolver skins go down in price. Revolver skins, gentlemen, very reliable investments. When times are good, they go up a lot. What I'm saying is this is lining up to potentially be a very, very, very likely skin that we're going to see being accepted. I'm just saying, based on the fact that it's part of a collection that's had many skins accepted, it's an item that hasn't had a skin accepted for a long time. I'm pretty sure a lot of people would like to have their ever so lovely and faithful best tier 1 weapon to have another skin accepted. So, what do you reckon? Wouldn't you like to coat your wonderful looking revolvers in the ever so lovely looking design of No Mercy? So, yep. Good stuff here, Mr. Bear Trip. Got a nice, fairly useful white aim sight tip there, but, you know, white environments, snowy environments, might not be super helpful there, but for everything else, should be helpful. Should be. Mr. MICRØ, strike a pose, turn yourself to the side, and let's get a good look at this. Yes. Looks like comic, buddy. No Mercy came out a long time ago. Comics looks like No Mercy, I'll tell you. So, yes. Bad Trip. Very successful with the most skin acceptances. I think he's up to 260 now. Is that correct? Is it more? He's got to have more, right? I don't know 100%. I do know he's the leader, I guess you could say so.
I wasn't prepared with the data to answer that question, but I could go get it if you're interested.
Sure thing. If I can just keep spinning around and you can grab that. I'm sorry, I should have asked that beforehand, but I thought it'd be a nice, interesting thing to say. But yeah, Bad Trip.
So yeah, he has 240 items accepted, it looks like.
I was close. But hey, maybe we're going to get closer if this gets accepted. So,
and you were correct in saying that No Mercy collection currently has 29 items, and this would make 30, which would definitely be far and away the largest collection. I mean, the Tempered collection currently has 26, and the Blackout collection has 23. So I guess it's not that far behind, but definitely the biggest and most diverse collection, could say for sure.
Got your little skull man there with his wings. Yes, gentlemen.
There's even a mouse pad.
Yes. It's that popular. So yeah, gentlemen, if this were to be accepted, I'm probably going to buy a few hundred myself. Revolver skins tend to be very reliable. Much like the Thompson, I just can't stop myself. Will it sell a lot? Probably. Will it do all right in the future? I feel very confident in it. But if that happens, we've seen quite a few very interesting Revolver skins being submitted fairly recently. But yeah, the last one to be accepted back in August of 2022. That being the colourful Revolver. And even then, that Revolver's doing very nice at the moment. That's selling for like $3 at the moment. So yeah. Yes. Isn't it nice? Wouldn't you like to have that on your hip? Right, MICRØ, do you have any words that you might want to offer?
I guess I don't have words. I mean, I'm just I've said everything I could say.
Just make gun sounds. Pew, pew.
Yeah, pew pew. We didn't point out the little like wings theme on the front there. I guess that's what that's sort of meant to be. I mean, stylized kind of
wings.
Little. Well, I wouldn't call them wings necessarily, but like that tapered section towards the front. I like that. That's another little design element present on a lot of the other items in the collection. And yeah, it's definitely a snazzy little gun, and being the highest rated weapon of the week, I think. The highest rated continuation in our list here, definitely has some potential there.
Votes.
Well, yeah, votes. We'll call it votes. I mean, yeah. I called it rated, but yeah, the highest number of votes. That's correct. Upvotes. So
yeah. Good stuff there, Mr. Bear Trip. MICRØ, are we now talking about clothing and armor?
Yes, we are. Wow. Yes, we are. It's clothing time.
Very well, then. So, let's go prepare ourselves. Let me just make it brighter. I need to just quickly tab out. You need to get changed. So, if you could do that, Mr. MICRØ. Gentlemen, we have a very interesting batch of skins. Remember, I've said many times during this stream and this video that we are expecting some very interesting skins for the March Force Wipe next week. As I've said many times, Face Punch will be wanting to put out a lovely batch of skins that are very likely going to sell well for next week. Loads of people playing means they need to put something very valuable out because loads of people are going to be seeing that Rust store. Therefore, they potentially might be making a whole lot more sales. So better, interesting. I don't want to say better, but what we tend to see is a lot of skin collection skins that are very likely going to be selling a whole lot more because more people invested in the collection itself. I'm sure you get the idea. So, sorry about this. I just had to tab out real quickly. There we go. And Mr. MICRØ, hello. You can put that gun away now.
Sorry. Yes, sir.
Understand peace. Be more friendly, MICRØ. Be more eco-friendly. Right.
Mm-hmm.
You look
nice
like
segue.
You're a giant graham cracker.
So, yeah, I feel like a granola bar.
Yeah.
So I feel like I'm crunchy.
Yes.
I feel like you could kind of put a thumbtack in me too.
If you could be a little less toxic, you might be a bit more authentic. Just joking, but yeah. We have the Eco Roadsign vest, coffee can, and Roadsign pants. The Tier 2 Eco. I'm surprised he jumped straight into making Eco armor, Mr. Upor, but here we are. So get a good look at this, gentlemen. Do you reckon this might fit for Rust? Do you reckon you can be eco-friendly? I don't know. There's a lot of people using a lot of that low quality fuel I'm seeing, Mr. MICRØ. There's a lot of fumes around here. But yeah, let's just get this over the hit. Come on, nighttime. Show yourself. There we go. All right, perfect. Mr. MICRØ, give us a nice spin.
Okay, can do.
Perfect twirl. Yes. Now, I hope you're not super flammable. But, yeah, Mr. Upor jumped in and thought, you know what? Why not just jump in, do Tier 2, and okay, that's cool. Are we going to get Tier 3 soon? Are we going to get Hoodie and pants soon? Maybe you want to space it out? Maybe show us some more weapons here and there? Maybe a door. Couldn't hurt for a door. But, yeah, I think you could do a pretty interesting looking batch of door skins with this. Maybe even a eco-friendly furnace. That might work. I don't know how you might do that, but I think that's a theme that could work out well if you did it correctly. I'm just trying to think about that now. But yeah, it's kind of reminding me of the likes of Cardboard and whatnot. And they did okay. But yes, it kind of looks like food, doesn't it, Mr. Meta? And well, it does say it's not toxic. So if you're starving and you know you're super safe, maybe you could just take a bite out of your vest or something. Maybe that might be the play. Maybe you're killed. You know, who needs legs? Who needs to protect their legs? You can just eat. So there's not really much else I can really say about this. It's a fun idea. It's unique in terms of like it's corkboard. Is that correct? Corkboard? What's the correct what would we call this?
I think it's accurate, like cork material, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah. Do you like what you see? Please consider going to the workshop, offering a comment or two, maybe a vote or two. It's up to you. But at the moment, this is what we have, and maybe we'll see some more. Mr. MICRØ, shall we move on to talking about the next patch of skins? The next batch. Say batch. You know, move on to the next one, MICRØ. We have Desert Raiders, Burlap shoes, and Burlap Headwrap. So, yes, Mr. MICRØ, show what we got. How you
Alrighty. Take a look. Yes, sir.
Ooh. Sorry. So, Mr. Vlek, he must have seen recently how well the Arctic collection did. What with the Headwrap. You know, he's actually kind of... What are you doing? What are you doing?
I want to get these puppies up off the carpet. Maybe this will show them a little better.
Maybe it will. So, I'm noticing that he is kind of... I don't want to say copy, but he's doing the same batch of skins in regards to how Arctic rolled them all out. What I'm saying is that Arctic did its shirt, its pants, then the Headwrap and the shoes. Well, Vlek's doing the same, because last week we showed off the Burlap shirt and pants, and now we've got the Headwrap and the shoes together. And yeah, a lot of people have been submitting Burlap things because, well, Arctic sold a ridiculous amount. So don't forget, skin creators are obviously looking on the acceptances in the workshop themselves and thinking, I could probably do something like that. Remember ponchos? When one poncho got released and sold a stupid amount, loads of other people decided to make ponchos. Then we had tons of ponchos accepted, and then suddenly ponchos weren't super valuable anymore. So maybe this is potentially turning into a new type of fad or thing. I don't want to say fad, but... You know, a lot of them are noticing, and loads of skin creators have been making more burlap things, which is nice, you know. The burlap shoes, we didn't see many skins of these for about, 3 years, and suddenly there's loads of submissions for them. But, you know, that probably won't bode well for the Arctic ones, because they're not as special then. But, yep, I think he's done a pretty good job with this. I think it looks pretty cool. And I think his workshop page showcasing the evolution of... a person playing Rust with his different various bits of Desert Raiders looks really funny. So
that was definitely really good. That was a clever and crafty way to show off the various bits of the collection. I enjoyed that.
You need to go see it for yourself. It was a very silly idea, and I think he did a very good job of it. So, Mr. MICRØ, give us a thumbs up, gentlemen. Do you like what you see? Is this the Headwrap and the Burlap shoes for you, the desert people? Do you like the desert camouflage that could be appearing soon for you? Right, Mr. MICRØ, would you like to move on to showcasing the Elite Crate hoodie and pants?
Very well. Let me... Actually, I do. I have my hammer. I'm going to pick up this here box because we don't need that any longer. I'm going to throw it off to the side because we don't need that. I'm going to get rid of this armor too because it's clogging up on my inventory right now. Give me one more second while I arrange myself. I'm going to put on the Elite Crate hoodie and pants, and there we have it.
Dun 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 dun. We've got green clothing. Take a look at this. Da, 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 da. Right. Elite Crate returns with hoodie and pants. So, for the past, I'd say month or so, because it came out before Lunar New Year and Valentine's, we've been hoping to see the likes of the Elite Crate Tier 2 being accepted. Didn't happen, unfortunately, but now we've got the hoodie and the pants. Mr. Odyssey has timed it well. He's waited and waited and waited, and well, he decided, you know what, maybe it's a good time to throw out the hood in the pants. Because personally, I think the skin creators should wait a bit when they release their core pieces. You don't want them to accidentally compete with each other. And he did wait. He waited a long time, and now it seems like a perfectly fine time to try and see if he can get his hoodie and pants being accepted. This right here would be a very, very, very nice contribution to the tier 3. MICRØ, do you have the tier 3 armor on you? I'm very sorry to ask this.
I don't have it. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, all right. That's my apologies there. So, what we could, you know what? You could put the alien with it. Alien might be a good play of that. Couldn't hurt. That could work out. Maybe this would work best with the alien stuff. But hey, point is, if this does get accepted and it is lined up perfectly for March, I wouldn't be surprised if it sells very nicely. And I think that Elite Crate Tier 3 might do very well if this is accepted. We are constantly on the lookout for more core pieces. And well, when this appeared, there was a little bit of a bump in interest for the Elite Crate Tier 3. But it has dwindled a bit, I think, because of the arrival of the recent UFO Tier 3 being accepted. So, you know, it might not be the only budget green armor that's out. Because remember, quite some time back when we had the Tier 3 that was accepted, we made the point that a lot of people might look at this and think it's budget Forest Raiders. Have you seen the price of Forest Raiders at the moment? The kilt went up to $40 during January. Whew, it has gone down since, but yeah. I think January 22nd, because I pointed this out during my market downturn video, it reached $40, but now it's gone down to about 30-ish. So, yeah. I wouldn't say no, and I'm definitely crossing my fingers and hoping it does get accepted. I am looking forward to it. But March Wipe Day next week is definitely looking like it's going to have a lot of very interesting skins competing for a spot. Because this isn't the only one, the only continuation. Based on what we've seen so far, this isn't the only interesting core piece that is a continuation. Because we have more to show in a minute. So take it all in, people. If you like what you see, please consider going to the workshop, offering a vote or two. Please consider offering a comment or two. Let's see if this potentially gets accepted. Mr. MICRØ? Do you have any words that you might want to offer before we move on to the next one?
Nope. I think it's you've said a lot there. It seems like a cool green set, very elite looking. could be useful in a foresty kind of environment. So I could see that blending in well with the grass and the green and all that. Yep,
that's all good. Right then. So, Mr. MICRØ, maybe you need to put some pizza clothes back on because I think we have some tier 3 armor to show off now. So, I'm going to look at the floor and you're going to put on some pizza all over your face. I might call you Pizza Face. Come on in, MICRØ. Let's go whip out the pizza tier 3. So, gentlemen, I alluded to this earlier. Mr. Zimic has produced pizza tier 3 armor. This comes with 2 different face masks, which we will see interchangeably. But, yeah, I thought he was going to make deployables, but no, he decided to make some tier 3 before he did any of that. So, here we are. We are about to see pizza tier 3. Dun 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 dun. Wha-bam! Good day, Mr. Pizza Man. How you doing? Right, so what we have here is pizza tier 3. Chest plate and face mask. But MICRØ, could you swap in the other face mask? I need people to see this. I am of the opinion that I don't like the face mask with the face. I think that's a bit too goofy. I have a personal opinion that I don't think face masks with faces are as successful in getting accepted. But the one without the face, so let me just go up right close to it. Gentlemen, do you like it with or without the face, MICRØ? Can you swap again to the other one? And bam. I prefer that one. I think that's got the better shot. I think a lot of people would prefer that. I don't know. You have to tell me. Which do you prefer? With or without the silly face? It's a silly collection. So it can be sillier, I guess. But what do you reckon? Glossholier says without. MICRØ, are you a face? Are you a pizza face, or are you just cheesy?
You're saying sauce or no sauce? That's what you're asking, right?
I guess we could say. So, are you with or without the sauce, Mr. MICRØ?
I'm a no sauce kind of guy. I don't know. Maybe that could be barbecue sauce. I don't mean it's necessarily tomato sauce.
You're not supposed to lick it.
Stop me.
Stop
me.
He's got cheese oozing all around him and whatnot. I thought that was a nice touch. I thought that was pretty clever. And the actual strap itself, it's pizza crust. So that's a win. I think you did a pretty cool job of that. Jimmick, Lysaint, best of luck to you. You do have some very interesting competition. In fact, we'll talk about that in a second. But yeah, I think they should have held back and waited until, this was more closer to the end of next month. Because it seems to be a case of Face Punch likes to accept it, but only for the last week of the month. So we're still quite a ways away from the end of March, aren't we? I think they probably should have waited until then. But you never know. Maybe we're going to start seeing those deplorables. Maybe we're going to see that pizza recoil target with the pineapple on it, so I can shoot it. Right, Mr. Jimmick? Right, Mr. Jimmick? Or, we could have like a pizza door with all the cheese kind of melting down and whatnot. That would be pretty cool. So, Mr. MICRØ, what's your opinion? Do you like what you wear? I'm surprised you don't have the boots on. I thought you liked having cheese between your toes.
I left them in the boxer here. I'll put them on.
Go on.
I was actually trying to decide what to wear, and I was like, I could show like the hide gear, but we're showing that with tier 3, and like even if I put on the hide vest, you can't even really see it.
Yeah, you really, really should embrace the cheese, Mr. MICRØ. Embrace the melty, greasy cheese all over your face. Oh. Right. So, gentlemen, are you the pizza man? Do you support the pizza man? Yes. That guy, shut up. We should be shooting pineapple pizza. It's necessary. We have to. So, put your hands up, pizza man. I've got you. Stick them up. Look at that face with it. Come on, put your hands up. This is a robbery. Hand over all of your cheesy goodness. MICRØ, put your hands up. Oh, it's too late now.
Sorry. I didn't realize you were talking to me.
Yeah.
I was just, you were
not
going and
talking
going.
to myself.
Sorry.
You look. The face is perfect for if you're about to get robbed. Go on, do it again. Do it again. It's like, don't hurt me. Go on, do it. Okay, so let's just put that out of the way now, gentlemen. We have one more tier 3 armor to show off to you, Mr. MICRØ. Go put on the full set, because this is probably, you know what to do, Mr. MICRØ. Moving on to the next tier 3 armor. Gentlemen, we've been anticipating this. Another core piece to a certain collection that we've been anticipating for a long time. Comics Collection has tier 3 armor. Tier 3 armor was submitted this week, and everything's lining up perfectly that this potentially shows up for the March Force Wipe. It will be a typical pick next week. It will be perfectly in time for the best week in terms of face. I've gone through the walls again. Sorry about that, Miss MICRØ. I fell over. Please understand. It hurts. Right. Dun 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 dun. We have the hoodie, the pants, the boots, the Roadsign gloves. But gentlemen, soon we could have comics tier 3. Get a good look at that happy grin. I'm not a fan of the grin. Show the one without the grin, please. That, I think, was the mistake with what he did last time. This is actually version 2, technically speaking. They did the silly face before, and I kind of think that's probably what kind of ruined their chances. But, yep, gentlemen, is that nice, bright and white enough for you? Is this perfect for those snowy backgrounds that you like to live in? The snow, the ice, the Arctic. The full collection is rolling out, and we're getting ever so closer. But as I said, this was submitted, and it's perfectly lined up to be available for the March Force Wipe next week. And as I said, Face Punch are going to want to put out some skins that they think are going to sell very well. What do you reckon? Do you reckon that tier 3 will sell nicely? Oh, I think it will. It's another core piece. I Don't know if it's going to sell as much as the hoodie and the pants. It might do. We don't know. But I do think a lot of people will be wanting to buy some hoodie and pants if that were to be accepted. The reactionary nature of the Rust economy. Core pieces tend to have the best impact, and well, the skins that likely are going to be impacted the most, of course, are also core pieces. Keep an eye out with these hoodie and pants people. They might be $3 now after seeing the Roadsign gloves and the boots being accepted, but what are they going to look like if we potentially see the Tier 3 being accepted? We have to anticipate. We have to speculate. You get the idea. So we had a hunch that this was coming. We saw it being submitted this week. Now we anticipate its arrival. MICRØ, do you reckon a lot of people will be wanting to use this in that snowy environment? In fact, you could probably quickly run down there and just run along all the bushes and whatnot. We've got it just right there. I know we didn't plan for it, but hey, a little bit of spontaneous movement and, you know, during this lighting, kind of blends in quite nicely, doesn't he? Stop in a random bush. There you go. Just twist that about. Twist that about. Don't have to jump. You're trying to hide. Come a little bit more forward. Walk through the bush. There you go. Alright. Now stop. There we go. So, do you reckon you could spot him immediately if he was just standing there? I couldn't. So, that's potentially on the horizon, and this is what people are going to want to use it for. Mr. MICRØ, hop back over here. Ah, hit the bar. I'm hitting everything today. Ouch. Wabam. So, gentlemen, this is lining up potentially to appear for next week. Is this what you're anticipating? Is this what you're expecting? MICRØ, give us a nice slow spin. We shall see. Nothing is guaranteed. We can try our best to figure out patterns. We can try our best to assume what likely could happen. You know, there is always a bit of a risk. There is always those that might want to put down some money early on because they think this looks like it's got a very good chance of appearing. Maybe I could put my money down and maybe I'll get a whole lot more money out of it. They tend to succeed. They tend to fail. It happens. We've seen a lot of collections have their skins, you know, their first few pieces being accepted, but then they never really go anywhere. You know, as I said earlier, the likes of Apostate struggled with that. So we shall see. But everything's lining up. Especially think like this. Those hoodie and pants sold over 40,000 sales each. I think Face Punch might want to try their best and see if they could sell the Tier 3 for 40,000 each as well. So will it be expensive? Probably. Maybe $2 each. There's no guarantee, but we shall see. MICRØ, give us a quick thumbs up. Because that is all of the workshop skins of the week. Now, we should just quickly point out that was the clothing and armor skin set, I guess you could say, that had the most votes this week, the most approval. Is that correct, Mr. MICRØ?
Pardon me, say that again?
This is the skins that had these. The Tier 3 had the highest appraisal. Is that what we're saying? Appraisal for this week in terms of votes?
That's correct.
Yes.
In terms of quantity of votes, upvotes, the comics Tier 3 set was the clear leader there.
Based on clothing and armor. So, we've been saying this a lot throughout the workshop showcase in terms of all of the continuations, but MICRØ, should we actually now start talking about the top voted skins of this week? Because we used to talk about favorites, didn't we? We used to.
Yeah.
But now,
for a couple of weeks there, we were gathering the favorite data until I was able to expand my data collection to the actual number of vote count. And that's a bit more interesting data because it's got a wider participation, and not everybody, respects the favorite mechanism as being like an indicator of hey, I like this skin. The vote up and vote down mechanism, it's what's introduced by Steam and meant to be the tally that communicates to the developers like, hey, the community likes this skin. And so now that we've been collecting the vote data, it's definitely there's some clear skins that stand out as being highly enjoyed and actively voted on by the community. And I'll point out one other thing. In order to favorite an item, you don't need to own Rust. But if you want to vote up or down, you do need to own Rust. So there's a little bit more control there when it comes to influencing those numbers. That, you know, it's a little harder to like unethically influence those numbers in some kind of like, you know, funny business. But they do roughly correlate to the amount of exposure that the skin has. So this isn't like a panel of people sat down and voted all on all of the skins. There might have been 10 times more people voting on the highest rated skin versus the lowest one. It's just it boils down to the amount of advertising and exposure that the creator has generated for the items. Maybe they posted them on Twitter. Maybe they have a big following in the workshop. And some of the smaller stuff has fewer followers, and maybe the person doesn't do as much to self-promote the items. So this isn't highly actionable information. We can't really draw any conclusions about what Facepunch is likely to do here with this information, but it does serve as pretty nice feedback in terms of like what the community is interested in. So as a player, you know, you go on and you vote for an item, you are leaving your mark there to say, hey, I like this. I want to see it in the game. And after a week of collecting vote data, you could see some items like really rise to the top in terms of people's widespread enjoyment and support for those things. And other things have astounding numbers of downvotes. Like, you'd be really surprised to see. I'll give an example from this week. We had the armored door, the Bismuth armored door. I was really surprised to see the non-glowing version had 38 upvotes and 49 downvotes. It's like people were really saying no on the non-glow version. I guess that means they endorsed the glow version much more, because the non-glow version had about 10% or 20% more downvotes than it did upvotes. And then you look at the glowing version, and that had about double as many upvotes as it did downvotes. So clearly, that seems to be the preferred version of that item, is the glow one. And you know, this, like, I'll say it again, this isn't like a guarantee that anything specific is going to happen here. It's just the data that's available to us. We're presenting it sorted by the number of votes up, and we've collected, you know, the top 10 here. We've selected. We could show more than that. I'll point out that this past week's store was comprised of like 80% of the items in the store this week were in like the top 20 most voted skins. So there is some amount of relationship there when it comes to highly voted skins seem to be making an appearance in the workshop each week. And that just makes sense, right? If it's a cool item, it's going to get a lot of positive votes. If it's a cool item, Facepunch is going to recognize that and want to have it in the game. So there's definitely some kind of relationship there. It's just not a guarantee. It's not like the highest rated skins are guaranteed to get in. It's just an indication that they're loved by the community. So yeah. I've said a lot there to qualify what the data is that we're presenting, but I think it's an interesting cross-section of the workshop, an interesting way to look at the information we have to process. And I think we should just jump right into it with the 10 most highest voted skins for this week. I will, I guess, just say one more thing here. 6 out of the 10 items here. Wait, 5.
We've already shown them.
6 out of the 10 are continuations that we've already showed. So I'll just mention those briefly as we go here. I guess I'll just start by indicating the pizza chest plate and face mask were among the top 10 most voted skins this week.
Yep.
The V2 there is the one with the sauce on it, with the little smiley business. Actually, is that correct?
No, pizza face mask version 2 is the one without. It was the one without.
The plain one.
Yes.
Yep. So coming in at number 9 and 10 are the pizza chest plate and face mask.
Mm-hmm.
Coming in at number 7 over here is the Mosaic Meds box made by Mr. Sad. And well, this is Hedge, you know, the list you're showing there is purely ordered by quantity of votes, but because of the fact that the comics can you bring that page up one more time? Yeah, I just want to clarify that what you're seeing there is sorted by purely by upvotes,
Yes.
right? And the comics face mask, the one with the smile there, belongs to like the rest of the comics set, which got a substantial additional number of upvotes. So I really included that more towards the top of the list. So that's why we're moving directly on here from pizza to the Mosaic, because the comics is really going to be talked about in a little bit with the rest of that set. So moving along here to the number 7 item, highest voted vote count this week is the Mosaic Meds box. We have, I think, 2 or 3 other entries in this set so far. None have been accepted. And again, we've talked about this many times on the stream here. We don't have an acknowledgement from Face Punch that they're ready to continue or to resume accepting large storage sets. We saw them for a couple years, sort of occupying a spot in the shop every week. And they did quite successful. They were very successful in sales numbers, and you look at basically any stream, any Rust player's base on almost any Twitch stream is going to have some kind of storage collection in their base, and they're just very popular between the neon set, the graffiti set, the scientific storage set. And I feel like I'm missing one that was a big set, but doesn't really much matter. There was a point in time where Face Punch said, all right, everybody, to the artist community, we were going to take a break. We're going to take a break from large storage sets.
Yep.
We're going to focus on individual designs. And we've been seeing quite a bit of that lately. And interestingly, the artists have started just taking it upon themselves to create storage collections now.
This past week, I think I went through, you're looking at about 10 different skin creators trying to get their own storage collection started. 10 different skin creators, and I'm not joking there. It's definitely along the lines of that. And I did mention it at the very beginning, Mr. MICRØ, because the one thing I wanted to get across is we had about 10 different skin creators submit a storage collection, and guess what got accepted this week? The independent skin. So I'm led to believe that was like Face Punch's message without like outright saying it. They kind of want individual skins rather than storage collections. It would be nice if they passed on word and gave an official word to say, right, okay, let's stop doing the storage collections for now. We're going to save it for a little bit later. That would be so helpful, but they aren't saying anything. So of course, if the skin creators don't hear it, then they're just going to keep trying. And well, we should point out Mr. Sad actually has done a very good job of this in terms of what he has here. Like we were talking like good 6 months ago during the release of the graffiti storages. There's a lot of people trying to get their own storage collection accepted back then. Of course, as you said, that is when we got the official word for them from Face Punch, where they said, "Can you stop for a while from this?" That is when they said it. But we're always talking about a specific criteria. There needs to be something special, like a fourth ingredient, if you're going to do a storage collection now. Because as you're alluding to, the most recent storage collections that we have seen were scientific and graffiti storages. And each individual storage, if I'm correct, Mr. MICRØ, I'm sure, each individual storage had its own special design per each storage it was based on. So take, for example, with the likes of graffiti collection, the boom storage, it utilized its font to be the explosion. With the meds, so I'm looking at meds here, the font was used, it had blood coming out of it, it was all bandaged up and whatnot. Its unique design was all based around using its font. Graffiti, that's quite clever. But what we have here, do you still have the other storages, Mr. MICRØ? I'm not sure if you have the others, because technically speaking, we have seen the other ones, because this is actually like, there's a group of 3. Mr. Sad, who created these storages, technically speaking, has produced a minimal viable product in that he has a batch of them. And something I didn't initially notice immediately is each design of these storages actually has a different mosaic pattern. And I didn't notice this immediately, but I do now, and now I realise that this is actually, it's got that special fourth ingredient. What are the ingredients? Change the font, change the picture, change the colour, but you need that fourth extra special something that makes it stand out and be unique compared to all of the other ones. Well, Mr. Sad has been doing a different mosaic design for all of them. And that, as of now, is the one thing that I've noticed, the one collection I've noticed that does this. It's not super crazy, but he's done it. So, yeah. Sorry to have interrupted you there, Mr. MICRØ. But, like, yeah, I thought we could quickly show this off. So, whilst this is the one that has the votes this week, and get a good look at the shine on that, he has a reasonable batch. And, you know, if it turns out that these don't get accepted, you know, he could just keep them in storage. And if we ever do get the official confirmation that, all right, guys, you can now make storage collections, he could just turn these into a version 2. You know, he's got the minimal viable product to showcase that, hey, I've got an idea and I've got that extra special creativity behind it. Is this good enough? And maybe it will be at the right time. But is it the right time? We don't know. So, is that okay way of putting it, Mr. MICRØ?
I think you said it right. I mean, it's it definitely demonstrates.
Oh, you cut out.
I did. Sorry about that. It demonstrates the intention of the artist to fill out a full set here. It shows that the idea has a bit of variation from piece to piece. It shows off the you know, it sort of gives a couple points of data to give you an idea to extrapolate out what this collection might look like if it was continued onwards. And, well, like, out of all of them, I kind of like this one. I mean, I'm not saying, you know, that I like this and I don't like any of the others. This one stands out to me as being kind of cool looking. I like the aesthetic and I like the motif, and even like the work, you know, the sculpting work on the box, the little details and stuff. It's pretty nicely done. Little edge wear here and there. So I am not opposed to it, but at the same time, I've been really enjoying the bit of little reprieve we've had from storage collections. And
you love your individual designs, don't you, Mr. MICRØ?
I do. I mean, not that I have anything against storage collections. I own several collections of boxes that I use regularly. I guess there's only so many storage collections you need, and being that, you know, storage collections are not always approachable by the average person. I mean, look, if you want to buy 20 boxes at, you know, $2.50 a piece, you're looking at $60, right? So not everybody's prepared to buy that just on DLC for a game, and I understand that. So if you want to keep things approachable for people, I mean, it might be a turnoff to only be buying one box of a whole set.
Yep.
So just a thought there.
Guys,
so it's nice to have a little bit of both.
Guys, Zoo, the collection you're referring to is Transparent AF. That was made by Sir Q. He was someone who made the skin collection last summer. I'm surprised he hasn't submitted it, but I think he knows or has the intuition that it's probably not a good idea to submit a collection at the moment. So, yeah. Not a bad idea in terms of, you know, I don't blame him. In terms of if you actually manage to be the person who gets the storage collection, you're getting a pretty decent amount of money, aren't you? So you can't blame people for wanting to try. But again, we haven't had the official confirmation. So, yeah. We've talked a lot about these storage collections, haven't we?
Yeah, yeah. You know, I mean, just think about all the time getting invested in this on behalf of the artists and stuff who are making these now week after week. When we've literally seen like a dozen or two individual box submissions. I'm not talking about sets, but I mean, we've seen probably 8 or 10 different attempts at beginning sets here, and a number of those have a few pieces in them. So these artists have been putting their hard work into this, and I've seen actually a few of them acknowledge that it's a bit of a gamble.
Yes.
And gambling seems to be pretty popular these days, so I guess I can recognize why someone might be willing to take the chance, especially as you pointed out that box or large storage sets tend to be pretty lucrative for artists. And so I think, you know, there's a bit of a push to start forming a line here, and you know, people, you know, taking a stab at it. Maybe people think we won't get official word from Face Punch to say we're ready to start accepting them again. I would like that to be clarified. Like if Face Punch said, you know, please continue not submitting until we give the go ahead, that would give a lot more clarity for artists to make a decision about how to proceed, because as we mentioned now, with the amount of these that have been submitted, and even you and I sitting here discussing it, you know, we're talking about it just strictly because it's unknown. If we knew what the intentions were, we would have a clearer picture and be able to allocate our time more effectively. But at the same time, I can understand and appreciate the fact that maybe they don't know
Probably,
when they
yeah.
are ready to accept them. So we'll just have to wait and see if any word is passed down. We know TGG is keeping his finger on the pulse of that one. I'm sure he'll let us know as soon as
it's not like we don't have another
up.
one to show off.
Well, hey, look, we've been seeing it on a regular basis, and you know, the fact that we're showing these now is a sign, right? The reason we're showing these is because of all
interest.
skins submitted this week. These are the top 10 most highest rated. These aren't just continuations. These is like everything from this week's workshop submissions. These are the most highly rated ones.
So Infinity Guns actually just about pipped Mosaic in terms of votes, didn't it? Just a little bit more votes and a little bit less. Well, actually, Infinity Guns actually has more down votes, which is quite surprising. But yeah, we've kind of already talked about all the skins. I'm sorry, Mr. Tricks. But yeah, we're talking about collections as a whole. That's what we're on about. But yep. But Tricks, unfortunately, it's not super noticeable. This is actually his first skin to be submitted in what appears to be his attempt at a collection. But I am noticing that unfortunate trend where he misses or lacks the fourth special ingredient. I can see a picture. I can see a name. I can see a colour. But what's the fourth extra special thing that's going to be special for each individual storage? Where is it? I haven't noticed it yet. Now, you might be able to show that off from now on. Like, you know, like initially, if I only had this med storage, I wouldn't be able to instantly notice it until I saw multiples of them. And that actually did trick me until I noticed, and then I realized, oh, okay. So what are you going to do, Tricks? Are you just going to do the free things? Which loads of people do that. Or are you going to figure out your special fourth ingredient? So, yeah. But he did pip meds, so people do like the design of it. But what's that special, unique thing that you're going to apply to them from here on now? MICRØ, I think we should just move on because we spoke a lot about that med storage. But it was mostly in general for storage collection, so it did apply to both of these. So yeah, but you go ahead, Mr. MICRØ.
Yeah, I wish we had a mirror shader in Rust, and you know, with something like that, you could like really do a killer job with this infinity look with a true like mirror reflection. That would be super cool. But this does have a nice little gloss layer on it. In fact, if you catch the right sunlight off it, the top has like sort of a scratched up appearance that you might find on something with a clear layer over the top. And I like the sort of retro color palette that's in there, and it's cool that he put the little AK, the stylized, like, I don't know if you call that neon tube or just a wireframe AK, but it's definitely cool. I could see, you know, if he had one for clothing, I don't know, wireframe or neon tube hoodie on there. I don't know. I could see that being sort of creative, but as you pointed out, it may be difficult to extend this to give it a really truly unique appearance that differentiates one box from another within the set. And I'm not talking about color or words or the picture. I just mean something else theme wise, or like an extra little embellishment. Like, for example, we saw in the scientific collection where the form, the structure of the design was relatively consistent each week, but there was extra little tidbits in there that set it apart. We saw that with the graffiti storage collection as well. Each of those had its own unique little graffiti stylings and little embellishments that were on there. So there's no reason that he couldn't come up with additional little features like that and integrate them on subsequent.
We did see that with the graffiti collection. The initial design was the scrap storage, and Lottie didn't actually do anything special with the scrap. But then he made little changes with all the ones after that. And then, like, all the other ones got accepted, and then randomly the scrap storage was accepted later on, like 6 weeks later. even though it didn't have any anything special about it in regards to like the special design, but it still got accepted. So Tricks, you still have time. You can figure out something extra to throw at it, but what might it be? Maybe you could just make a version 2 down the line after you've made your other storages. You get the idea. So best of luck to these two people. Mr. MICRØ, shall we move on to this interesting looking door over here?
Yes, we shall. So yep, coming in at number 5 on the list this week in terms of being highly rated or most liked or upvoted. Got to come up with the right term to describe this precisely, but it's
awesome.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, I guess I meant in terms of like upvoted or highly rated or whatever. But this had quite a few positive votes. 612 is the last time I counted, which was a few hours ago. I ran my data collection, and I'm not surprised to see this got a lot of positive attention. This is a pretty fantastic looking sculpt job with a very cool looking Greek god inspired design here. The dimension and the texture here is definitely very cool looking. You can see as I shine my light on there, it really draws attention to the depth.
Oh, you can see it's
sculpting.
Like flesh.
Yeah, the muscles and the hair and the beard and all that. It really pops off the door there. You can see his hand clutching that lightning bolt. That has a nice response to the light, creating that light and shadow, that contrast there. Very cool looking sculpt. And even the emission layer is pretty cool looking with that lightning bolt lighting up the cloud there. That's really cool and well done.
Zeus
design.
The drone
very
guy.
Unique.
That's not bad. I think he'd be shooting drones out the sky with his lightning bolts, buddy. But yeah. Yeah, but here's that thing. We were discussing this. Is this too much? Is this too much for Rust? Secondly, does it fit Rust? Like, this... We don't know. We don't know. We're not in charge. But, like, we look at this and we think... It's not really directly referencing Rust, is it? But we've seen Rainbow Pony designs and stuff like that being accepted. If we can have silly stuff, why can't we have, awesome stuff like this? Like, I know I'm just, that's kind of like what about? But like, yeah, this is something that we do have to discuss because this isn't the only skin that we're going to be talking about. This, are we? But like, what's your opinion on that, MICRØ?
Well, if we read into a little bit and we look at the title, the specific title that this was submitted to the workshop with, it's called Olympus Door /1 Zeus. So is that a sign that this is like an Olympus collection? Maybe he's going to do a couple Greek gods and he's starting with Zeus and the intention is to release more. This may be one of those things where we see a couple of them hit the workshop before Face Punch is like, okay, we see how this set is now shaping up. We kind of like the idea of there being this varied collection of items here. And we're going to go for it. Yeah. So like you said, I don't know. I don't see a lot of relationship here or relevance within the Rust world. But I can't deny that it's a really cool looking skin with a great sculpture job and cool emission layer. So
because from here I wanted to segue over to the Abyss garage door, if you're all right with that, MICRØ, because the same kind of like point kind of sticks of that in terms of awesome design. So here you go, I've got this on the screen and I'll hop over to here.
Well, we'll do that. There's nothing really left to say. I mean, by doing that, we're skipping the comic set, but we already showed that off today. Yeah. So let's just acknowledge that the comic set is third and fourth on the list.
Yes.
Actually, third, fourth, and fifth, and we'll just point that out that was highly rated this week. The community seemed to like that comics tier 3 high quality set. And now resuming the line of discussion that Hedge had proposed. Let's move on to this number 2 skin of the week, highest rated skin. Number 2 on the list is the Abyss garage door that Hedge is now hiding away.
I actually rammed right into it. So, yes.
You want me to put that back?
Yeah, go on, because I was going to zoom into it. So, gentlemen, this is actually the second skin of this theoretical collection. because we had the sheet metal door being submitted a month ago, wasn't accepted. And this is actually the initial talk of where I kind of spoke with MICRØ and said, very cool looking, but is that too much? Is that fit rust? It's cool, it's scary, but is it too scary? Is it too much? Because we've had the likes of Dragonhorn and Toxic Dragon and whatnot. That was fine. But are aliens out of the question? Well, we just had Alien Tier 3 being accepted, UFO Tier 3, so I don't know. It is odd, and secondly, let's just quickly show this to you at night time. It looks like that. Pretty cool. Get a look at that. So, yeah, this is an awesome looking design, but does it fit rust? What's your opinion? Because I'm sure the Rust devs, the Face Punch developers need to think, it's awesome, but does it really fit our game? Does it really match with our intended design? MICRØ could do the garage door check if you want. Do you want to walk across it? Yeah, MICRØ, I think he's going to bite you. I wouldn't recommend that you walk right in front of him. That would be great door defense, wouldn't it? But yep, let's go back to. Could you get rid of that wolf? Whilst I talk about this, we can feed it to the door if you want. So yeah,
go away. Shoo.
What we have here is very nicely baked, very awesome texture, very interesting design. But gentlemen, what do you think? What opinion do you have? Are you the elitist who thinks, you know what? I don't want to see these wacky skins. It doesn't fit Rust. I liked it when we had I liked all the skins that appeared a few years ago, when we had just plain and simple, more DIY grounded designs. Now we've got aliens and rainbow ponies and pizza. Ugh, I'm fed up. What do you think? Like, everyone is entitled to their own opinion, but you do have skin creators that are capable of making things like this. Would you accept it? You don't have to buy it if it was to be accepted. But, there is still that leniency, that threshold, and is that, quote-unquote, too much? What do you reckon? So, that's the final question. MICRØ, you did have a great... Go on.
We got Alien this week, right? And this is sort of alien looking. In fact, if I had to say, I'd say this is pretty heavily inspired by H.R. Geiger's... sculpting work, who's a famous Swiss artist.
Yep.
This definitely bears some resemblance to, like, the Alien movies. I mean, I'm not saying it's like a copy or anything. I mean, it's really not like you could say, oh, this was taken from a movie or from some other artwork. It's definitely a very unique looking and very organic and sci-fi.
Could you turn off your minus hat?
We have heard that
no. Oh,
the developers tend to enjoy sci-fi type stuff, or at least they're big fans of sci-fi. And there's a slight bit of glow there. I think that's just
so slightly
a splash that just comes from the emission layer when the emission bake was done. I mean, I don't regard that as extremely helpful for navigating within your base in the nighttime. It's a very, very subtle and subdued little glow piece there. So I would not consider this to have a glowing roller, but I do think it's really cool looking and very nicely done and finished and polished skin. Very cool looking. Question is, just like the Olympus door, is this really gonna get accepted based on its lack of relevance to the game? I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, see it as like a streamer skin.
What we can sit here and say is, we know that people like it, because this was only beaten by the tempered double door over there. Little Ranger has produced a very interesting skin that has taken the interest out of most people, or rather, most people that like to vote. So this got a lot of votes. We can quickly show that again once more. On average, let's say top 5. All of the top 5 had more than 600 votes. This obviously went up to 700. But yeah,
a lot of these are about a 3-to-1 ratio. The Olympus door, the Abyss, the tempered. They're all basically like 3-to-1 in terms of upvotes to downvotes. It's a pretty strong balance, leaning towards the upvotes. So.
I will point this out, MICRØ. Out of the top 5, this only has the second lowest votes down. I will point that out. The likes of the Comics Chest Plate, Comics face mask, and the tempered sheet metal double door. They had more. Yeah.
Well, it's all proportional, right? So the more exposure it gets, the more votes it'll get, and that includes both upvotes and downvotes. So you have to sort of normalize things by the fact that not everybody got the same amount of visibility. But if you do compare that ratio of upvotes to downvotes, this door certainly has a very solid like 3-to-1 ratio there. The comic stuff is highly rated. It's also got a decent number of downvotes. It's not quite 3-to-1 ratio. It's a little closer to 2-to-1, but definitely a lot of these, all of these top 10 that we were showing here are basically the ones that have gotten the most attention for the week. So this being number 2, only bested in terms of upvotes by the Tempered Collection, and that's a pretty astounding accomplishment considering the Tempered Collection has been around for years and years and years.
It has years of investment.
Extremely well known.
This has only technically appeared a month ago. So, of course, loads of people by default will be invested in that based on its collection. But this has only just appeared. So, yeah. There is, I guess you could say there's merit to this. It took a lot of attention from people and they liked it. But a lot of people were anticipating the arrival of something like that. Because as I said earlier, we've been seeing a tempered deplorable skin being accepted every force wipe. So for the past 3 months, two months, yeah, whatever. You get the idea. You get the idea. So yeah, that was a great point to bring up, Mr. MICRØ. Thank you for that. MICRØ, do you reckon we're done then with the top voted skins of the week? I think we were showing it up enough.
Other than to just formally wrap things up by just saying, the tempered door was the highest. Out of all workshop submissions this week, this door had the most number of positive attention, and this was like the one that like was basically universally loved by everyone. So yes, it's a continuation, but it also just in terms of overall vote count, this was the one at the top of the list.
And like we said, 6 of the top 10 were continuations. People are invested into collections, and that's helped them out. That's helped out those skins because people want to see more skins in certain collections. They already have fans of what already exists, and those fans want to support the new thing. So, it's not hard to understand, is it? So yeah, I think we've pretty much.
And I think I said this earlier. I think I did mention this, but 8 out of the top 20, actually top 21 if we're being accurate, but out of the top 21 skins last week, there were 8 of them that made it into the store. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see how this trend continues over time. We're not going to be able to capture all these every week because remember this list of highest voted skins this week reflects submissions that were on time for this past Monday or this just the Monday of this past week, which would be typical skins for next week. So what we're not showing here are items that could be considered early or late picks for next week. And if we expand the vote count to that, I mean, we could start really throwing some numbers at you, but they're not all equally comparable because they haven't necessarily all been on the workshop for the same amount of time and therefore have had unequal amounts of time to gather voting data. So because we're doing this on a recurring basis each week, we're going to confine this top 10 list to the typical skins for the week, aka stuff that met this week's submission deadline. And that's the cross section we're going to choose to show. So we can't make a very in-depth prediction. This past week was interesting because all of the skins on this week's store were typical skins, which means that if we had looked at this favorite count last week, we would have been able to, examine the top 20 skins, for example, and identify 8 of them that were going to be in the store. Yeah. So that was a bit of a special case, I would say, or unique in that the developers chose to pick all typical skins this week.
I should also point out the previous week we had all of them being typical picks as well, except one. Yeah. So typical picks seem to be the most, preferred skins.
For these past 2 weeks, they have been. But over the past, how long have we been doing this since like July or something? We've seen months, or I should say weeks, where the store was comprised entirely of early picks or late picks, or the majority were late picks with a few typical or early sprinkled in.
Things
So
were
it's not,
weird. Things were different,
not always
varied. So
right. It's not always as simple as saying, okay, this is the stuff that was submitted this week. We expect to see that same batch of stuff on the store next week. It's just this period of time right now, this week and last week, where we had a high percentage of skins that were representing the typical group this week, which are things submitted in the prior week. So that wraps it up. This is the 10 most highly upvoted skins for this week's workshop, and that basically covers it. I guess we might as well just chip in there and we'll run down the very quick list of the next 10. There was the Flare Python, the Pizza Face Mask, the Elite Crate hoodie. There was a Metal Punk set by Johnny that was pretty cool looking. That got a decent amount of upvotes.
yeah.
There was a small wood storage box, a small wood box called the Apartment House. That was pretty cool looking and unique looking storage container. There was a Lunar AK that got a lot of upvotes. The JPEG wooden door. The Wasteland crossbow was number 19, and the Elite Crate pants were number 20. So
yeah,
keep your eyes peeled for those as well. They definitely are in the running in terms of high vote count. Again, that doesn't imply any decision being made on Face Punch's part there. They're free to select whatever they want,
but it's
regardless
interesting.
of the number of votes.
It's interesting to keep track of it now, though.
Yeah,
we got the information.
It's nice to see what the community's interested in.
Yeah. So, MICRØ, thank you very much for your help today. We went through quite a lot. We went on for quite some time. But yeah, next week, gentlemen, 4 swipe. What are we going to see? Who knows? But I'm looking forward to it. Well, I mean, MICRØ, go on, poke it one more time. There we go. You know what's yes. Well, we, as I said, we're always speculating, we're always anticipating, but this right here, wouldn't be surprised. So yeah, you don't have to bow to it. Zeus is very angry at you now. You stop praying to him. No, don't. You can't. No. Oh, he's probably going to make another door skin, and that's going to be angry at you now. MICRØ, do you have anything you'd like to say for the last few words?
Nope. I thank you, Hedge, for doing a nice job of describing all of the beautiful skins we have for this week. And I think I know what's coming for this week. If I had money to bet on it, I would say we're going to see this tempered door. But don't take my word for it. That's just an educated guess.
Yeah,
and,
we should just point out that we guess, but everything's kind of lining up where it's like it's kind of looking likely. So yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed yourselves, and remember, descriptions got a whole bunch of links that might be helpful for you. And yep, MICRØ, thank you. See ya. Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.